right, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you guys for being here. I got here as quickly as I could. Y'all, my heart's beating so fast. It's beating so fast. I'm trying to get rid of this so I could see if you guys can see me. Hold on. Or for some reason, I feel like I can't hear myself. Be good, boy. Be good. Okay, am I talking? I am talking. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. The Goncalves family is not happy. Well, they said they wouldn't accept a plea deal, but as far as I know, they have to go with majority wins, and so that goes to show you that at least the other three families probably just wanted to end it. Hi, Bees. Good to see you, Miss Barbara Smith. Thank you guys so much for being here. Genevieve, thank you for being here. Lizzo. They said they're furious. I can imagine. Sally Balls, hello. Let me just finish. Let me drop the link for Miss Barbara. You guys, I just heard this news the minute I went live. I heard the news, and then we started this together. We're gonna finish it together. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very disappointed. Hi Hopes, good to see you, babe. I'm very disappointed. I have a lot of emotions, just like I think all of you have to have, just like the Goncalveses. I'm pissed. Lunch Lady, thank you for being here. Big hugs to Izzy. Listen, you guys, hit the like, hit the thumbs up, the thumbs down. We don't really care. Just let the algorithm know we are also here. So, I need to grab a cigarette. We're going to start pulling stuff up. We're going to start going through this little by little. So I'm guessing what happened. I've only had about 15 minutes to think on this. That, Ann Taylor put before the judge. She needed some more time, right? She needed some more time. And when the judge said, hi, Miss Barbara.
Hi, Lainey.
So when the judge said negative, like you've had enough time, let's go, and just backed it up a week. They knew. I've been telling you guys all along. I've been telling everybody all along that the prosecution was not bothered in all of those court hearings. Look behind whoever's standing at the podium speaking to the judge. The prosecution's like, we don't give a fuck. We're ready to go. The only way Ann Taylor was going to be able to stop that death penalty was to tell him, dude, you have to plead guilty. You have to. That was the only way it was going to come about. He was going to get put to death. But what I want to know, does she feel any inkling? Hi, rapper. I didn't see you till just now. Does she feel any inkling of guilt? Listen, I know everybody's got a job to do, and even Ann Taylor, she has a job to do, and she was doing her job. But y'all, there is no way me as a human being could look at that man in the face, knowing what he did, and just be going week after week. No paycheck is worth that. A paycheck is not worth a human life. I'm sorry. So if that makes us low on lawyers that can defend the death penalty, so be it. There is no way that I would ever, no matter how big the death penalty is, defend a son of a bitch for a murder. As senseless as this, any murder, but this is crazy. Lolly, I think we're all in shock. I'm in shock. Miss Barbara, how do you feel?
Oh, I am beyond pissed off. Beyond pissed off.
I mean,
For first place, she better beat feet out of Idaho. Because I don't know how she could ever, anybody would ever hire her or or how they could still let her be a public defender. All the money they've spent on him, all on all the pretrial hearings, moving the hearings down to Boise, all the misery the poor families have gone through,
Yes.
um, and the Gonzalez, I can't say their name,
It's okay, Gonsalves.
family is so upset.
Oh, I'll bet because Steve said he said, we're not taking a plea deal.
I
We're not
know.
doing it. Death for death. That's what he
They
said.
said they feel like the state of Idaho has um, done them dirty.
What do you think? What does Chad think? Tell me what you guys think. Do you think the state of Idaho has done the victims' families? I mean, let's be real. They have taken the taxpayers for a ride here, for a ride. But do you feel like the families have been jaded? I mean, I can't. I feel like I've been jaded.
I do too. I've been looking forward to this trial ever since the murders happened. Ever since they arrested him, I have been. I at the time I didn't know, how long I was going to be here, and I just kept hoping that I would live to see the trial. I so wanted to see them find him guilty and give him the death penalty.
What a freaking coward! What
Oh,
a
he
freaking coward!
he totally is. All we can do is hope for prison justice,
Absolutely.
that
And I
somebody will
believe.
do him in.
Uh, oh, okay. I sent out a message to Maggie to let her know that I'm live. So they're already in bed. So she'll probably just be in the bushes until she falls asleep. She didn't know about it yet. Um, I I mean, we're gonna pull up some stuff, but I just think the judge gave them enough time over the weekend to think about what their next move was. They had no other move. They had no other move. They knew that they had their listen, this is way beyond circumstantial evidence, you guys. I am gonna say I'm gonna put my middle name on it because well, I'll put my first name because that's the least name I like, so I don't mind losing it. I'm gonna put my first name on it that it's gonna come out. There was more DNA. Let's talk about it. I bet you there was more DNA.
I
What
agree.
says you, Barb?
I agree. Where they cut those portions of the wall out,
Yes.
I think there was DNA on there.
And you know what? The good news is the Goncalveses are pissed. So guess who's gonna sing like a bird? They have kept him quiet as much as they could for how long?
Yeah,
And
well
then
over
they
two
do
years.
this. Hi, Aussie True Crime. Can you believe it? Lolly and Pop says that now we're going to have to pay for him for the rest of his life. What a freaking coward.
Yeah, he's what, about 30? And
Yeah,
the state of Idaho is going to have to support him the rest of his
right.
life,
Yeah.
while the
Genevieve says
little
he could not take what was handed out. Disgusting. I hope it all comes out anyways. I hope it does. And for
well
all
it,
those, I want to say this and I want to scream it loud and proud, okay? And those of you that believed in this prosecution and the work that the law enforcement did all along, I hope you say it right along with me. You pro burgers, but most importantly, those that called this a hoax, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You need to personally somehow find a way to apologize to every one of these family members. You should be ashamed. I mean, I guess you can't help what your mind thinks of as guilty and not guilty. I don't understand how people can't see guilt when it is put in front of them. I mean, it's just there, not even written in cursive. You can't read it. But to say this is a hoax, Max Smith, you should be ashamed of yourself.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder
You
what
should
Max
be
Smith is
ashamed. And that's
thinking.
all I have to say to Max Smith about it. You should be
I need
ashamed of yourself.
I need for you to explain something to me. The prosecution was very assured of what they had.
Yep.
Did, did the prosecution have to agree to this?
Well, the prosecution's the one that brings it.
Well,
Now,
why?
he
Why
could
did they
well
do it?
he would bring it to the family. So how it works is so when the judge turned them down and said, "No, we're going. Like you've had enough time. Quit playing." Um I'm sure Ann Taylor had already told him, "Look, this is all I got left. If this doesn't work, the best thing for you to do is to take a plea deal because you're going to the death chamber. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You're going to the death chamber. So if you want to live, I would take a plea." Well, when it didn't work, I think that Ann Taylor sent a message via email or whatever over to the prosecution and said, "Hey, Brian's willing to take a plea. Or would you consider it? This is what he'll give. He'll give um he'll go, I don't know which one he's pleading yet because I haven't looked up any of the reports, either manslaughter or murder, for you guys to take the death penalty off the table. Uh and also he will, do his life sentences without parole. Like he'll never see a parole board. He's just going to be thrown in there somewhere, and he's going to find out how quick he's. So then, what happens usually is the prosecution will say, "Hang on," and then they'll call the families because it's the right thing to do, right? Now they don't have to base their they don't have to base or take in account what the families feel about it. They don't, by law, they don't have to do that, but it's courtesy to put it before the families and say, "Look, this guy wants to take a plea. This is what we're going to give him in return. It's fair." And they'll take in account what the families say. But usually, what happens in this kind of a thing is that they'll do a majority rules. And I think we're going to find out real quick. I think Steve Gonsalves is going to put it all out there. I think he's going to say who took, we know the Chapins took a plea, wanted the plea deal. Hands down, they did not want to go to court. They had said that they were going to go to court because they wanted somebody to represent Ethan, or they were going to figure out someone to go to court, but they don't want nothing to do with it. They said it wasn't going to bring their son back. I'm not going to lie, I don't understand that way of thinking, but I'm not going to re-victimize the victims. Um, and I don't know what Xana's dad, mom were thinking. I don't know what Maddie's parents were thinking. I know the Goncalveses said there's no way we're taking a plea deal. So it begs to wonder, did the prosecution just say, "You know what, we've got him, and we're just going to save the public the rest of the money. We're going to save you guys the torture of having to see these pictures, videos, hear the details, do all that." You know what I mean? And then they could present it, and all he's got to do is sign off on it. So that's how that works.
Uh, he doesn't deserve to get
No,
by that easy.
no, and I hope he dies a very slow, agonizing death. That's my opinion. And I'm not happy. I don't know how to feel um about Ann Taylor, you guys. I just don't. I know, and I keep telling myself, I hear you. I hear you, Leanie, the good Leanie, saying, "Listen, she has a job to do. We've got to represent people that don't have money." I get that. But I'm saying, what kind of a person can do that? What kind of a person do you have to be to look a cold blooded murderer in the face? And when they're telling you, "Yeah, I did it, but I have
And all the
autism."
things, all the things that that she has found out about him, and all
Yes.
the little quirks he has, and all the little things that they had to go the extra mile for him. He has to get vegetarian food, and all the people at the trials was looking at his package and just all the sick things. And I hope that he gets beat up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when he's in prison.
You know what I think should happen in cases like these? And I'm just one person in this great big old country. But I think it needs to be considered. If your client has spent this, you guys remember he had triple the lawyer help than what the prosecution had. Okay, he had two investigating lawyers out of California that moved up to Idaho, and they were doing that. Then he had the lead defense, right, Ann Taylor, and then she had three subs. There's five right there, you guys, not including everybody in her office that's part of her team working on this.
Well, I
So
think that the judge or whoever let them do that or let them get by with it because they didn't want there to be any kind of chance of them ever saying it was a mistrial because they weren't given enough help or whatever.
we'll see that's not up to the judge. The judge has nothing at all to do with the plea. Zero. And the judge, hip Hippler, and I wasn't stuttering, you guys. That's just the way I call him because I feel like he's my buddy. But he knew that they were going to appeal it and say that he mishandled the case. He wasn't worried about it. But the judge has nothing at all to do with pleas or with the verdict in a jury trial. He just reads what the state gives him. But this is what I believe. And you guys tell me how you believe about it. I think if you spend this much taxpayer dollars, you've moved the trial because that wasn't the prosecution, you guys. That was the defense that asked for a move. You
Right.
have used this much resource. I'm sorry. I just think the money needs to go back. What I mean, keep you can keep 40 hour a week money. Anything overtime, we want it back and we want it put back into the pockets of the Idaho people. I mean, don't you think that's fair? They get
Yes.
paid 40 hours a week, whatever else, because bitch was making that overtime like nobody's business. She was getting paid $200 an hour.
Oh
We
my
read it
God.
right here. She was being paid $200 an hour from the state. And then um and then $200 an hour from another entity uh for every hour spent overtime. So what I'm saying is go ahead and let her claim her 40-hour week. Anything over that, your bitch little asshole in there went ahead and took a plea. So we're going to need some of that money back. That's what we're going to need.
Yeah, he let them spend all that money for all those years. And then at
Yep.
the very end, he was scared and he took a plea deal.
Yep. I'm telling you guys, I don't know what you guys think about it. I think there was more DNA. I think we're going to be shocked because tonight, sometime, somebody needs to pay attention to News Nation because I'm surprised Goncalves is not already there if he hasn't been there.
Probably. Probably.
And he's gonna sing like a bird. He's gonna tell you everything he knows. And I'm telling you, I bet my first name. Give it to Rapper. Um, that uh that there's more DNA. There's more DNA. Lizzo says it's annoying because we don't get to hear it all. That's right. That's right. I believe a second person is called for. So you still believe in the second person. Aussie True Crime is shocked. Yes. And she says, I'm feeling for the families right now. Yeah. They're, oh gosh.
Especially the guy Calvises.
They've been
They
shut. Oh, y'all. This is terrible. This is
it,
terrible.
it is terrible. It is. It makes me so sick. Absolutely sick.
Sally Ball
Everybody,
says,
everybody over the country and in other places in the world deserve answers.
deserve answers. That's right. Sally Ball says, so this is a done deal, right? Does this mean no type of appeal or anything? Life without parole, period. That is
Right.
exactly right, Sally. It's exactly right. We will never see or hear from him again. Maggie's in chat. Good to see you, my love bug. She said, oh my God, I want to rip my hair out. I said he would do this, and it's been my fear all along. I feel sick to my stomach. I thought the families would have a say about the death penalty. Mags, I hope you heard exactly how I explained that would happen. I wish okay, this is what can happen though, you guys. I will tell you this. The families can sue for wrongful death. Okay, they can sue for that. They're not going to get a
But they're not
dime.
going to get anything.
No, but it's just the whole point of hearing a jury or a judge say you're guilty. I wouldn't put it past at least the Goncalvises
Oh yeah.
to go for wrongful death because they want to hear you're guilty, you motherfucker.
Do they have a in-person trial? Would they have Kohberger there in the
Yes,
courtroom and
yes,
everything?
yes, yes.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
then they will do that so that they
And
can.
what's good, you guys, is that all families can come together and do it together, or they can all separately sue him for wrongful death. And I hope they do.
That would
I
be
hope he
ideal.
has to stand in that courtroom with the families glaring into his head.
4 times he has to take 4 trials,
Yep.
and then have
Aloha,
the
Sean.
and then have the family statements where at the end where the families get to give a statement, a victim.
Impact statement. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Well, they're still, I think they still get to give their impact statements. I'll have to research that. And then I think during the wrongful death, uh, for the wrongful death, those go for monetary. So I don't think they'd give impact statements for that. But I think so. They're still going to have. So if he has set before a plea, right? What's going to happen now is they'll have to go back into the courtroom. He will plea. He will have to say it out of his mouth. The judge will not record a plea for him like they did the first time because he stood down. Okay.
Okay.
He will have to say the plea, which is guilty. And then the judge will either put off a couple of weeks or do it right then and there and sentence him. I think that they probably would put off for a couple of weeks and the victims' families will still get to give their impact statements.
I hope so.
Me too. I think he needs to look at them, if not just hear their mouths. Maggie says, hello, everyone. I'm sick of hearing this. I just knew they were dragging it out to see how far she could go. And I can say, I know Maggie's been telling me the whole time, he's going to plead. He's going to plead. I'm like, no, he's not. He's too big headed. I feel like crying. I've watched this since the day this murder happened. Mag says, I knew it. I just knew it.
Um,
Oh,
I'll jump down so Maggie can come up and scream. I know that would make her feel better.
yeah, but her
Okay.
hubby, they're all in bed. Lizzo says he has to go to court on Wednesday for a change of plea hearing. Right, because the judge had to put in, remember, he stood down. Remember, the judge asked him, how did he plea in the beginning? And Ann Taylor stood up and said, he stands down, Your Honor. And then they had the judge automatically puts in a plea of not guilty. Now he's not allowed to do that. He has to stand and plead. Will we ever get to know anything? Yeah. Oh yeah, we may not know all the nitty-gritty of it all, but oh yeah, we're gonna hear some stuff. We're gonna hear and it'll start coming out tonight. I'm surprised, way surprised that the Goncalvises have not been on the news yet. Brian Kohberger will spend the rest of his life in prison while the death penalty is taken off the table because of his guilt plea. That's right. Lizzo says, and he will have to do an allocution where he has to admit to every little thing he did. That's right. But here's the problem with that. They could stipulate, and I hope the families have done this. They can stipulate in the plea agreement that Brian is to meet with them and their attorneys and give them the truth of what happened.
Oh, that
Now,
would be awesome.
does that mean that he's going to tell the truth? No. Will that be put out live in court? No. But Goncalves will speak. Remember, what was it this past summer? Joran Vandersloot, he, after all these years of him killing Natalie Holloway, he finally admitted to it. And that was one of the stipulations Beth Holloway put into the plea deal, that he would have to tell her exactly where her daughter was and exactly what happened to her that night. And so Beth came out after it was all said and done. She was the happiest I'd seen her in all these years. And she told a little bit about what happened to her daughter. Lolly says, and we don't get together every day for trial. I know that sounds bad, but I was looking forward to it. Girlfriend, me too. Me too. And you know what? I was wrestling with myself because I felt like crying, and then I just got mad. And I was like, oh my God, do I have the right to be mad? I mean, and then I thought, hell yeah, I got the right to be mad. I put a lot of time and energy into this case. I got the right to be mad. Damn it, I wanted to see his stupid ass. Oh. And I wanted to hear what his sister had to say about him. And I wanted to hear all of it. I wanted the dirty deets. I'm shitty.
After you came on your way home, I called my daughter and I was ranting and raving, and she just she just sat there and she said, "Mom, this is real life, not a TV program."
Mm. And I texted Beefcake and I was like, that motherfucker is taking a plea deal. And he was like, what? I was like, Brian Kohberger. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Because I always say I'm invested. He's like, you're invested. I was like, fuck you. Don't tell me if I'm invested or I'm not invested. You can tell me that. Mag says, my YouTube has blown up. I'm getting notifications left and right and center popping up on my phone. I know, Maggie. I know. Sean says, I don't mind that the death penalty was taken off because either way, he's already. Oh, I mind because he was going to get a bullet to the head. I really mind. They were going to make an example out of him. He very well could have been the first person to take a bullet in the death penalty in years and years and years. And now we have to feed the son of a bitch. Sunshine, my Idaho friend.
How do you feel, Sunshine?
How do you feel, Sunshine? This is your state. These are your tax dollars. Sunshine so graciously offered me a place to stay if I was going to come to Idaho. She says, does this have to go before the judge? And he has to agree to it. No, he has no. It's going to go before the judge, yes, because everything has to be done in a court of law. But anything that has to do with the guilt, the non-guilt, what the jury does, him being all that, he has nothing at all to do with that. So if Brian wants to plea, he can plea. It's up to the prosecution whether they were going to accept it or not. Those are the only people that have to agree to it. Hopefully, the families, they took into the account the families, and if that's the case, maybe it was 2 and 2. I just can't see Maddie Mogan's family not going along with the Goncalveses. And then the prosecution had to make the decision by themselves. But sometimes they'll make the decision even without considering the families. But I just don't see that happening. RC says, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid to say hi. Sorry, RC. We're all passionate. We're all just like upset in here. Me
First, I
too,
was
Max.
shocked. Then I was so angry that I could have spit nails.
Yeah,
And I think
that's what
that's
happened
still
to me.
where
I
I
just,
am.
yeah. Hi, Sunshine. Good to see you. He has to go to court Wednesday for a change of plea. Guys, I feel so depressed. Yeah, I'm pissed. RC, Brian Kohberger, we've been doing Kohberger Wednesdays every week for 21 weeks straight. I think we missed 2 Wednesdays, not to mention the Thursdays that we did. 21 weeks straight, only to hear this motherfucker wants a plea deal. Oh,
I
God
really
help us.
wish, I don't know why the prosecution did that. If I were them, I would have said, nope, sorry.
Absolutely. I would have said, "We're going, bitch. Shut up. You're going without a bulletproof vest, too." Man, I mean, B said, "Yeah, and Taylor, give up your boat and vacation for the next 3 years." Listen, bitch don't care. She made a lot of money on what she did already. A lot. And she is already trying another penalty case.
Well, that's what I
Another,
was going to say. Now she has
uh-huh. She's gonna,
time to
she's gonna,
work on that.
she's already working on her next one. So she's can't be bothered. I'm going to tell you what, she's going to get some hate mail, not from me. I just know how this works.
Oh, yeah.
And it wouldn't
The people
surprise
are
me if,
angry.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if she gets some death threats. I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there.
I mean,
Scared,
see how
imagines
angry
how
we
the
are. What
victim
about the
felt.
people who lived in Moscow?
I know.
What
And then
about the
they just
kids
went
that were
through.
students at the
Did you guys
time?
hear about the Coeur d'Alene shootings? Yeah, was it yesterday? The
No.
night before last, the firefighters, there was a sniper went in and killed some firefighters. Y'all, it's gonna get ugly.
Wow.
Imagine how the victims felt. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. I won't be. I've been counting on it. I'm just. Lena Chris Madonna said there was more DNA last night on his live. Did he really? I've been saying it all along because everybody's like, they don't have any more DNA. Well, how do you know? The way that the prosecution sat back at every hearing, Mr. William Bill Thompson, like, I'm just unbothered, Judge. Can you tell her to shut up and let's go to trial? I mean, this dude's toast over here, right? Toast. You could just tell by the way the prosecution was not bothered at all. The only ones that were bothered was the defense. The other thing that has to be a factor is that convicts don't like child killers, including college. Well, listen, I believe in prison justice. Hope says, "I'm very angry about this and I haven't even kept up." Oh my God. We've spent a lot of time doing this. I think the families will be pissed with the prosecution for proposing the dropping of the death penalty in exchange for him pleading guilty. I think that was the only way he was going to plead guilty, Lizzo.
That's what I was going to say. There's no way he would have pled guilty if they'd left the death penalty on the table.
Hmm.
This is to save his sorry little ass.
Yep. Prayers for Kama to get moving on his judgment. That's what B says. Mag says, "I'm heartbroken for the families, and this Ann Taylor was wanting more time to drag this out." Yes, 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 yes. And I'm sorry, give that bitch 5 more years. She was not going to be able to negate anything the prosecution. She knew he was toast and she was willing to drag it out longer.
You
You
notice
have,
as soon as the judge said no, no more delays,
yep,
no
we're
more
done. Let's
anything.
go. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think she gave him a heads up. I think she told him, look, this is it. I pulled every card I know how to pull. They've got too much evidence. Too much evidence. This is your choice. But I remember months and months and months ago that a lawyer talking to was it Brian? And Brian, and see, I'm on first name basis with these people, y'all. My Nancy and Brian, they know me. But anyways, they were asking the lawyer, what would you do at this point? And they said, tell him to take a plea deal. There's too much evidence. Um, shame on her is right.
Speaking of
RC
knowing him on
said,
a first name basis, I wonder what your friend Nancy has to say.
I know.
Nancy's probably spitting and
Oh,
cussing
y'all,
and
we're listen. I'm going to get probably copyrighted on this. As soon as they go off the air, I'll put it up. I'll put them up. At least I won't be able to get a strike, but they'll slap my hand. RC said so. They never got a chance to convict. No, we were going to trial on the 18th of August. In fact, July 30th was when we were going to start trying to seat a jury. So, but I'm telling you, at least you mark my words, at least the Goncalvises will file a wrongful death suit because he's going to face them in court. Oh, Daddy Goncalves. Oh my God. He looks like Guido from the Mafia. No offense, I love Guido, and I call my husband that sometimes too. So when he comes out with wet hair and his little gray on the side, I was like, okay, Guido. He has to agree to spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole and waive his right. Poop. Waive his right to appeal. Rapper, is that our rapper, you guys? I don't know if that's rapper.
it's hard to know who is
It's
who anymore.
y'all. The trolls are out of control right now. All we can do is hope for prison justice. That is correct. Rapper, you're gonna if you're coming up though, honey, you're gonna have to show me your face and back chat and y'all. I hate doing that, but trolls are running rampant again. It is terrible what's going on out here. They should open everything up now that the gag orders will be finished. I think they will open everything up. I do, but do remember, the judge in the Delphi murders dropped the gag order too, and there's still stuff that has been. Well, these are the differences is Delphi is minors, right? Like minors under 18. These kids were 19 and up. So a lot's going to be dropped. A lot. I don't think we'll get everything, but a lot.
Yeah, we won't get everything because the prosecution isn't going to divulge everything, but a lot of like law enforcement and things like that, we're going to be able to hear a lot that we didn't get to hear before,
Yeah.
things like that. I hope
And
like Dateline or something interviews the prosecutors.
they'll come out. They're going to listen. William, he goes by Bill, but I'm calling him William because I'm on first name basis with him. I love Santa. I wanted him to come to my house for Christmas so he could dress up as Santa.
Well, I'll invite him.
I should. I'm a good time. Leanie, I do so as well about the impact story. Impact stories are going to be great. RC says, so no conviction. He took a plea deal. Yeah. He'll be in court on Wednesday. So we still will be doing a Kohberger Wednesday. It's just going to be a different kind. We will be back in court. Maggie's so thankful you put this in there. Justice for Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Y'all, we're not even going to get to hear from the other roommates. They're not going to sing about nothing. Oh, yeah, we'll never know what took so long to call. Oh, man.
We'll never get to hear about what Beth saw that night.
Yep, nothing. Unless they decide to make themselves rich off writing a book, it'd be a bestseller.
Yeah, it
The
sure
the
would.
the surviving victims, you guys, that would be a bestseller. Y'all, we'd all be buying that book. Oh, or passing it around. I'll buy it. I'll pass it to Miss Barbara. She can pass it to whoever, and we'll just keep going like that.
Or
They
we could buy it on tape
right,
and listen
and all
to
of
it
us listen to
live.
it together.
Yeah.
But no, they could make a large. It would be a New York's bestseller. I'm telling you right now. If you hear me, Bethany and Dylan, and I know you listen to According to Leanie, because who doesn't? Y'all write a book because somebody else is going to. In fact, they're already writing them. So don't let somebody else tell your story. You were there. You write the book. You write the book. You're the ones we want to read.
James Patterson has already written one, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that one's fixing to come out. There's actually two people that have already wrote a book. Let's
Gonna
see.
come out in July.
Steve Goncalves said they're beyond free poop, furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us. He has to be given some time as this was unexpected. God, could you imagine y'all getting that call?
It'd be
Um,
just like being punched in the gut.
I know. Steve, yo, this is Bill William, if you will, from According to Leanie, Friends of According to Leanie. And listen, oh Bri, he wants to take a plea. Could you fucking imagine getting that call
No.
and having to tell your wife, oh my God, and your children? Oh no.
He probably punched a hole in the wall.
There was no jury. He took a plea. We hadn't even gone to trial yet. Trial was supposed to start on the 18th. But because the judge shot down their last claims, shot down their last thing of putting trial off for a little bit longer, they had nowhere else to go. That was their last ditch effort. So we didn't get to trial. I want to know why. I want to know why too.
I hope the public defender's office fires her.
I hope
Just go hide
somebody,
somewhere in the mountains.
yeah, I hope someone goes and kicks her in the pussy. Did I say that? And it's not even leaning after dark. It just came out. I couldn't help it. Sorry, y'all. I'm terrible. Leanie, you and Maggie did an amazing job. Thank you so much. Listen, and I just want to give a huge thank you to those that, sent me stuff and sent Maggie stuff and kept, doing their own research and saying, getting us stuff and saying, look into this or have you seen this? It was a joint effort. Um, and I'm can I toot my own horn a minute? Toot toot. I am proud of myself for this coverage because I am not a true crime person. It takes a lot of work if you're going to do it with some sort of integrity and dignity and truth. Okay. So I am proud of myself for what we did get accomplished because I mean, it was a lot of hours put in, a lot of overnights, a lot of just,
You all did do a great job.
and
A really
so
great job.
I'm going to be proud of myself for that because that's the first time I've ever done that. And I enjoyed it so much. And it was hard, but it was so good. I think.
It was. It was very explanatory so that all of us could understand it. It put everything in such a orderly fashion timeline. Yeah, it
Well,
was
I
great.
appreciate that. I do. But seriously, thank you guys for hanging in there week after 21 weeks, you guys. That's a long time. And I mean, most true crimers, they go even longer than that. But I mean, for our first one, and we were willing to go the distance. But thank you so much for hanging in there with me and Mags, and for all the work you guys put into. I appreciate it. Sally Ball says, Hoburger. Right on. Not what I'm saying. Did the jury have a chance to convict? No. There was no jury. We haven't even seated a jury yet. We were going to try to seat a jury starting July the 30th. So there was no jury involved yet. It was just that the judge says, we're going to trial on the 18th. We're going to start seating the jury on the 30th of July. So get your shit together and let's go. So Anne told him, look, you're going to the death chambers. They've got too much on you. And we knew that. We knew he had, there was no, I'm sorry, you guys. In this case right here, none of this was circumstantial. None of it. It all added up, one thing after another, straight to one person named Brian Kohberger. And y'all, I'm just gonna say it, and I just got a little twang when I thought about it. If his parents truly did not know, then you have to. I mean, I feel sorry for him, and only God knows if they knew. Um, and the sisters, both sisters lost their jobs, from what I understand.
Yeah, they
Don't know if
did.
that's true. I didn't ever find anything concrete like the sisters coming out, but it would be interesting if one of the sisters wrote a book as well. So I I mean, they're victims in this too. That was, if they had nothing to do with it for the rest of their life, will they move away from the home that they've lived in all them years? Because now they're going to be known as the parents and the sisters of a
Probably.
crazy murdering. I mean, a lot of people have to leave, you
I
know?
would. I would
I
move
would leave
away.
too. I would absolutely leave. I couldn't face people. I
And
wouldn't have stayed that long.
I think the father and sisters knew. I think the mother lives in La La Land somewhere.
I think he was her little baby boy. And I think the sisters did tell them, and mama was like, not my baby boy. And I think daddy was like, possibly my baby boy. But yeah,
Yeah.
I really do think that. Anne will get her karma one day. Yes, she will. Yep, they cut a deal.
Oh, that's just so sad.
It's so sickening. You know what I really thought was going to happen, and I told Beefcake this just after it came out, where the judge said, no more time, let's go. Um, I told Beefcake, I said my biggest fear, it was never going to be. I never thought that he would take a plea. It was the fact that Anne would tell him, fire me. Fire me. A whole new set will come in here. That'll
Oh,
give me more
yeah.
time. I really was scared that was going to happen. I kept telling Maggie over and over again, he is too arrogant to plea. Well, he just fucked up everything, didn't he? He thought he was smarter than everybody. He left his signature not just on a knife sheath underneath the victims. He left his signature with his car. Y'all, we don't know how many. We only know of what they have put out to us of the pictures of the car, right? We don't know if any other surveillance has come forward with his actual license plate on it. He left his signature all over he fucked up. For someone to be so smart, supposedly, he fucked this up so bad. I'm, I mean, I think I should probably get in touch with him and just let him know, hey, you ever go to, cut yourself or shank yourself on your arms in the wrist area, go straight up and down, deep, wide, and continuously, not sideways where you catch the bone and possibly live. I want to teach him how to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's some others that are probably already sharpening up a shank for him.
Well, I hope. RC says he's just trying to save his life. He'll never get out of jail. No, we'll never see him again. Never, never, never. Somebody might leak some photos every now and then, but after he goes to his wrongful death thing, because I'm positive that's going to happen, um, we'll never see him again or hear
And
from
he's
him.
so awkward and has no personality. He's not going to assimilate into prison life at
I
all.
don't think so. Jay Brad is in the house. Sister, sister. Lizzo says, I don't understand why the state would do that, though. To put families, they had enough to win a death penalty. So why put a plea deal? It makes. I think, William is going to come forward and tell us why. I really do.
I think
And
he needs to.
yeah, he needs to let us know. And so we probably won't hear anything until after the plea deal is signed. There's still a gag order, right?
So, how did you find out today, Leanie? How did you
Lunch
hear?
lady. I
Ooh,
was about
lunch lady.
I was about 10 minutes away from home coming back from my in-laws. And lunch lady, we have a signal. We call, we ring up, we hang up after one. That means check your messages right now. And so I did, and all I saw was Kohberger, and I was like, "Oh no!" So I tried calling her back. She couldn't answer me, and then she called me back. But by then, I had already seen it. So those are the only messages I've seen so far. And I turned on. I went to X really quick, and I saw Brian Enton's thing. And if Brian Enton is reporting it,
You know it's true.
it's true. It's true. He is one of the reporters that I trust the most. Probably the most trusted reporter in my book. So the gag order is going to still be in place probably until he is sentenced. And then I think after he's sentenced, I think the prosecution team will come out and give a speech with the families. I think that's what's going to happen. Nancy's Grace's eyes will be flickering away when she covers this. I know, I'm so excited. Let's all clip Nancy Grace.
She might even be pounding on the table.
Oh, I hope some. She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yep.
I'm trying to look at it this way. I can come to terms with if he was found guilty by a jury, it could be 10 to 15 years before he was put to death. And you're correct about that. And he was just going to waste more taxpayer money, right? Because those appeals are not cheap. But still, I feel let down by your state. Sunshine. I feel really, really let down by your state, Sunshine.
You know what I always thought that they should do when somebody is accused of, not accused, sentenced, found guilty of murder? I think they should make pictures of the scenes from the murders and put them on the ceiling and the walls of his cell, and he should
Yeah.
have to look at them every day.
But what if he doesn't have, what if the thing that I always thought about with that is that, like, what about like Jeffrey Dahmer? Don't you think if there were pictures up of his victims every day, he would just be getting off on that? So do you think if they put pictures up of the kids, I call them kids because I call 30-year-old kids, okay? If would that bring him joy? Because
Oh, I don't
he's
know.
masochist, right? He's just evil.
You're
And
right.
that's what
He might
scares
enjoy it.
me. Book club. From a law enforcement standpoint, it is a win to skip a trial and work on other cases. And well, JB, that doesn't make none of us here feel better, okay? None of us are feeling good right now. We're shitty. Just another reason for all of us women to be pissed off. He didn't even get a call. He got a letter. Wow. Wait. Oh, Steve, you mean? Oh, that's right. I did see that. That they weren't sure if it was an email or. Oh, wow. Oh,
That would
William
really
probably
piss
didn't
me
want to
off.
hear his mouth. Could you imagine Guido coming after William? Oh, he's annoyed that Bill Thompson offered a plea deal. It should have never been offered. Sounds like to me that
Well, if
either
that's the case, it sounds like they didn't ask them.
that's right. And I think that's shitty. I'm gonna have problems with old William if he did not talk to the families about it first.
Yeah, he can't come to your house for Christmas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right, Mom. That's right. You can't come, oh William. And listen, William, if you didn't consider the families in this, you need to go on according to Leany, and we're gonna we are gonna grill you up, down, inside, outside, all over the place. Oh, William.
It might take days, William, but we'll get her done.
And then after that's over, bitch, we're going to be sending you to every mall in America and pray that, and we're going to make sure all the babies aren't wearing a diaper so they piss on your lap. Don't try me, William. Don't try me. I've got connections.
Well, I think they should put Ann Taylor out on the circuit too, make her go
Yeah,
and
make her go and play Mrs. Claus, uh,
yeah.
and have the baby sit on her right after.
Or
Oh
maybe
God,
she
it's
should be a
annoying.
little gnome or whatever.
Little Oh, so gross.
Or a
I I
gargoyle.
I hope Ann Taylor's brownies and fudge and every Christmas thing she ever eats again tastes like a Sour Patch Kid.
Or
Thank
like
you.
shit.
Or like shit. Let's go burn shit on her doorway. I've never done that. I was thinking about that, you guys. I've never burned shit in a bag on somebody's doorway.
I haven't either.
Oh man, that would be so fun. You did a great job, Lenny. Thank you, Genevieve. I appreciate that. You should be very proud. I'm gonna pat that on my back. I'm gonna pat my back. I am. Because I did work hard. And I could have done it different, just speculative and thrown out weird ass theories and monetized, because I am monetized. We did not earn one dime on this channel from covering this.
Doesn't that
And
make you mad?
and uh and I would do it all over again just like that, not making money off of, now later, if we talk about it later, sure, if it's all put to rest, he's dead in a grave somewhere and we decide to talk about it, yeah, I'll leave the monetization, but we've turned off monetization every time we're live about this. Yeah, I think they suspected it too. Maggie's been telling me for weeks. I'm like, no, no, no. Whoa, 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 Mags. Someone who knows everything will write a book like the Dateliner leak. I'm here for it, Sally Balls. I am here for that. Leak everything because Blondie is here for the leaks. Let's go. I want to know. Shannon Gray said, the issue is they're trying to cram a plea deal for July 2nd, only giving the families a day to get to Boise. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. At some point, when are the families going to be considered?
Well, Steve Goncalves will be there.
Yeah,
He'd
but
walk if he had to.
to rush it out so that the families only have one day to get there. I mean, at what point are we going to respect the families? Because they haven't been.
Well, if they didn't consult the families before they gave him this plea deal, then you really think they're going to consult the families about anything? Or, I mean, to me, they slapped him in the face.
Absolutely. Absolutely. B said someone needs to tell the crazy story so it annoys BK to tell us truth. I don't think anything annoys BK. I don't think he feels it. I just don't. Leni, will that program we're going to watch on Discord still go ahead? Yes, it will. We're still going to watch that. I wish I could watch it here, but that will get me a copyright strike. Does that mean you finally going to shut up, Leni? Not at all, RC. Listen,
See,
that's the Leni effect, and you love it. That's why you keep coming here.
you're so bad, RC.
Since day one, I
Bad, bad
said his
boy.
arrogance and planning to a T caused his mistake in evidence. Yeah. Listen, God don't like ugly. You probably have loads of messages because you. Oh, did you, Lizzo? I didn't know that. I was just like, wait, what? What? I'm not even gonna be able to sleep tonight, y'all. I'm not even tired anymore. At least he can't appeal or get parole. Yes.
Oh yeah, thank heavens they took that. They didn't. They put that in there that he can never get parole.
Oh my God, you guys, can you imagine? Oh, let's all pray for this one. Here's a new one. Let's all pray for it. That his phone calls to his parents, once he gets to prison, is going to start being leaked. And that anyone he does from here, because Letitia Stouch's, all her phone calls are still being leaked. She got a girlfriend that's giving her money. I want some leaked phone calls, bitches. Get on it. His memory forgot his AZ prepping. A to Z prepping. They should have taken his damn memory bill. Well, I think he just ran into some problems he didn't know was going to be there. At
Yeah,
least
I
she'll make
think
us
that
laugh. We always love Nancy. Amen.
Kaylee being there threw him totally off,
Yeah,
and that's why he left the sheath,
yeah. Because
and
he fought.
that's why he got caught by Xana and Ethan,
Yeah.
and so he had to kill them, and he wasn't planning on killing them.
Nope. He was just going to take out Maddie.
Yep, and that's why he ended up, I think, sitting on that chair and leaving some fingerprints on the wall
Yep.
because he was really thrown off. And that's why I think he didn't see Dylan.
Oh yeah. I think he was already in that like tunnel vision thing where you just got to get
Yeah.
the hell out. Like something bad's going down here. Like they're coming any second. Um, Donnie says, "Hello, Donnie. Good to see you. It's been a minute." Donnie says the family can start healing now. Well, after Steve Goncalves goes and cuts some ass for people because he's pissed, the family sure will be able to face him in court. Now, I have gotten two different. Whenever Kaylee and Maddie's ashes were put together at Kaylee's house in the living room, um, I'm gonna have to stop a minute and take some medicine. Uh, the Goncalves family said that they were not going to have a funeral for the girls until um, this was all put to rest. But then I heard just a couple of months ago that they went ahead and had a service. Well, they wanted to wait until the perpetrator was caught because they didn't want to take the chance of him showing up at her funeral, right? Which is highly likely that happens a lot in these cases. So I'm wondering, after in all these last couple years, did they go ahead and bury Kaylee and Maddie? I want to know. The defense wanted the deal. Of course they did. They knew he was going to die.
I don't understand why people bury ashes. Why don't they put them in an urn and keep it on the fireplace?
Um, I know a lot of people that do that. For me, I want my mother and my sister's ashes buried because I
Do
want
you?
Yeah, because I want a place I can go to by myself and
Well,
talk to
that's
my
true.
mom and my sister and see their names. Names mean a lot to me, like a lot. And I'm very upset. I was when I was little that my mom's dad was buried at sea. That's what he wanted. He was a naval man. He wanted to go to sea. That's what my mom did. But I was like, why didn't you ever have like an in memory, like a bench? And she was like, girl, I couldn't afford that. And I understand that, but it's always bothered me that I never got to go and touch his name or anything. Um, I want my mother's. And listen, I wouldn't have cremated my mom, even though that's what she wanted, but we didn't have life insurance. So there's that.
Yeah, I want to be
They don't have
cremated,
to ask
but
the families. No, you're right, Donnie. They don't have to ask the families, but most prosecution will consult with the families. They absolutely will. And if old William did not do that for sure, he's going to work I'm going to Idaho. I'm picking his ass up and not in a sleigh either, in a Kia. Okay. And he's going to listen to my music the whole way. All right. In fact, I think we'll just do a live all the way across America. And I'm putting his ass um, in there at Christmas time. He's going to work for free. And every baby is not going to wear a diaper and they're all going to piss all over him. And then we're just going to the next one.
and he has
And
to
we're
give
going to
every
stay
one of
live
them a
the whole
gift.
time. I'm going to be popular one day. Thanks, RC. The resources it would take is ridiculous. Put him in jail and move on. JP, I don't need you talking like that. We're never going to know the dirty deeds.
Are you talking to JB?
Yes, she's
What'd
being
she say?
all, she's, Miss Barbara, she's being all law enforcement on us now. She said, thanks, RC. The resources it would take is ridiculous. Put him in jail and move on. There would be an appeal after appeal. The family can just forget about the trials now. We wanted to go to trial.
JB, shame on you.
Shame. That hurt my heart.
Here, I thought you were a sweet little girl.
It's always the quiet ones, I tell you. The
Yeah.
families do nothing, Lizzo said. They received a damn letter telling them that. Is that true? Is that true, Lizzo? Lizzo, can you come up? Will you come up? You shut up, JV. Because I haven't read any of the reports yet.
Yeah,
Lizzo, I
Lizzo,
know you've read.
come up and talk to Lenny, and I'll get down.
No, you could stay up here. You could
Well, I
stay up
won't
here.
say
We
anything.
know
I'll
how
just
not to
listen.
overtalk.
Oh yeah, I can't stand it when people over talk.
Yeah, no, Lizzo's good on panel. Um, Lizzo, do you mind coming up and telling us? Because we haven't read any of the reports. I haven't read even Facebook. I had to get here.
Yeah, you have more information than we do, Lizzo.
Get up here and let us know what you know. Maggie, love you so much. Good night.
Bye, Maggie. She's not
I'm
going to be
gonna.
able to sleep.
I know she'll be up in 2 hours. I'm gonna drop the link again, you guys. This right here is for Lizzo. Because I want to keep the panel small. That way people don't get talked over. Lizzo, please come up here and let's have a discussion. She said, with a heavy heart, Max said this, with a heavy heart, I'm bowing out of chat and listening. Love you, Lee. You did fabulous, girl. You're a great researcher, as good as those who do it full time. You defend. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your help. Did not do it alone. Uh, but why leak it and then put a plea deal on the table? Yes, we want to know.
I think the whole United States deserves to know everything.
We want to know.
They
All right,
owe
you
that
guys.
to us.
Here's
Hello.
Lizzo. All right, give it to us, girl. What don't we know?
Um, well, all I know is that the lawyer that yeah, you call them lawyers, don't you? We call them solicitors.
Yes.
For the Goncalves family, said that they knew nothing. They found out by letter, and that's why they're furious about it. They found out by letter, and then obviously they've only got. They're trying to get this hearing on Wednesday, which has only given them one day to get there.
Right, because they would have to travel tomorrow.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
they only found out, was it yesterday or today well, it would have been today by letter. So
Did
they've one
he?
day.
Do you have any way to bring up their? I don't have Facebook hooked to this computer yet, but do you have something else right there with you where you could read what Goncalves said from their family page? If not, I could bring it up.
Let me just have a look.
And while you're reading that, I need some medicine. Hold on, let me see what Crow Crag. Who the hell's that? Leave Lucy Connolly in prison. The hell?
Crow Crag, leave Lucy Connolly in prison.
Crow
Aim and
Crag.
go.
I don't have any idea what the hell you're talking about. But welcome.
Ban camel rides. Great Yarmouth. There ain't no camels in Great Yarmouth.
I wouldn't know where Grey Yarmouth is.
Great
Crow.
Yarmouth is in England. There ain't no camels in Great
That's
Yarmouth.
why I know. And Maggie says, as her parting words, Brian Kohberger, I'm just going to say it. I hate your fucking guts.
Right on, Mags.
Did you find it, Liz?
I'm just getting my Facebook up now.
Sorry. Listen to me making everybody do something for me.
Has Max Smith showed his silly face?
He can. He's blocked.
Oh,
He's sitting up
okay.
there. He's sitting up there, y'all. Grow Crag, I like it that you said thanks. Gave you a good laugh. Oh, so we were supposed to laugh. Okay, got it. You might be able to hang around because, I mean, if you like to shoot the shit and you're a funny guy or girl, stick around. Y'all, I'm eating shit food. Now I'm eating these nasty ass, cold ass fries.
Well, you
Getting
got to
fatter
do
by
what you got to do.
the second. Fucking A, you guys can believe it. Can you believe it?
No.
Maggie's never going to believe another word I have to say because I'm like, nah, Mags. He's too arrogant. Nah, Mags. Nah, nah, nah. And here we are. Maggie called it right.
It never even entered my damn mind.
At this point, it didn't enter mine either. I told Beefcake, I said, look, what I'm scared of is that she's going to tell him to fire her. And that would have pissed me off so bad. Even worse than this, because it would have set us back another 2 years and she'd have got to keep all that damn money.
Yeah. And go on to her next death penalty case.
Uh-huh.
Now she's made herself look really bad, so I don't know what's going to happen to her.
I think she's going to take a lot of hate.
Yeah, I don't think the people in Idaho are any too happy with her.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, love bug.
Right, all it says on their page is, and he put it on I think it was an hour ago. He just put on, "It's true, we are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us. Please give us some time. This was very unexpected and we appreciate all your love and support."
Oh my God.
So they must have only found out today.
I didn't mean to highlight that. I need someone to delete that comment. All right, Crow. So we got to figure out what's funny and what's not, because that's not funny. Go ahead, Liz. I'm listening.
Yeah, so they must have found out today. It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. They had all the evidence that they had, you know, and she was clearly panicked, wasn't she? That's why she was wanting the continuance and whatever else.
What's their plan? Let me ask you this. Let's say he did give it a continuance. Was it their plan the whole time for him to do this? What says you guys?
Who do you mean, Bill Thompson?
Yeah.
I just don't get why go this far with it. Why wouldn't he have done it? Why didn't he put the offer on the table in the beginning? It would have saved the family all this. I mean, I know the family didn't want it anyway, but
But I think what I had heard was that the defense got a hold of Bill Thompson and told him that Brian wanted to make a deal.
oh well, I haven't heard that. I've just heard that it was the prosecution approached them and offered the plea deal.
Oh, we got to find out. But all right, hold on. Give me just a second.
And that's why Goncalves is annoyed and feels that the prosecution or the state of Idaho have failed them by doing
because they
that.
should have just said absolutely not.
Yeah, they
We've
should have
come
said
way
no.
too far for that, Brian.
You know, they should have said it's a slam dunk for us, so no.
Exactly. Well, you know, didn't Bill come out of retirement, or he was set to go into retirement? And they were like, hey, friend, one more.
Oh, right, I don't know.
I think so. I think this is this judge's Hitler's last case, and I think Bill was due to retire, and they were like, "We need one more from you."
Yeah,
y'all. I hope people take the shit for that.
They've played right into Ann Taylor's hands. She's got what she wanted. This. It couldn't have worked better for her.
Right, it's still a win, right?
It's a win for her, yeah. So that's why it doesn't make any sense. Except for the death penalty. Had he have got the death penalty, you got to think on the years and years that it would take for him to actually, be put to death, because that goes through so many appeals.
Right.
So with this, he's waived all his rights to appeals. There are no appeals. He's just going to get life in prison.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Somebody better be leaking some stuff, because I want the deets.
Yeah.
I want to know. And if I don't find out, things could get uglier than what they really are around here.
I mean, they were saying, I don't know if, I can't remember what they call it now. Did they say it was an allocution or something? He has to, where he's got to admit every little thing. All those charges and everything that was written down.
Yeah.
He's got to admit to everything that he did.
So he can't just say, I'm guilty. So he has to.
He has to admit to everything.
So what he's going to do is charge him, like, say, count one. Are you guilty of the murder of Kaylee Gonsalves? Guilty. Are you guilty of the murder of Maddie Mogan? And he goes through all four of them.
Yep.
And then he has to go to the it's burglary charges, right?
Burglary, yep.
Yeah.
But I think it goes more in depth than that. When they breaking it all down. I think it has to go more in depth than that. From what there was.
Oh, wait. JB says, I didn't know this. You're right, JB. You are right, JB. She says, remember when BTK had to go through everything that time?
Yeah, that's exactly what will happen with Kohberger.
Oh, God, I hope so. Because,
So,
So did
well,
he have to
maybe,
tell details?
will he have to?
BTK?
yeah,
Yeah, BTK had to tell details.
yeah, he has
And
to.
yes, that's
That's
right.
part of his plea deal. You know, he has got to do that.
So
So
that'll
And he
be
has
we
to do
will
it,
Wednesday?
find out.
and he has to do it through his own mouth, right? Not through a lawyer.
Yep,
He has to speak it.
yep,
Oh my God, you guys, I won't
yep,
be able to sleep. We're so there for that.
yeah.
Is he going to do that on Wednesday?
No, he'll
No,
just change a plea and then they'll set up a date.
Oh,
Wednesday's just
okay.
where the judge has to accept his change of plea. Accept it. You know,
Oh, okay.
it'll be a pretty quick thing, I would imagine. Wednesday.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure they'll probably do like victim impact statements and him having to do the allocation
Yep.
all in the same day and he'll just get sentenced. I mean, what's there to talk about?
Yeah.
They've already basically sentenced him through the plea deal.
Exactly.
But I remember when because I was thinking about Natalie Holloway's mom because they did hers in private because she faced him and he
Yeah.
told her everything. Well, Jay Bratt says sometimes it's written by him, but will they read it in court? It's a condition of the plea to admit guilt. They don't always make them do that in court, though. Sometimes, well, I want it. Damn it! I no. I got. Hold on a minute, you guys. I'm gonna call Bill real quick. Let William know. Listen, we're not accepting shit unless he's gonna stand up in front of court.
Oh, they
and
owe
just-
it. At least they owe that to families that he says it himself.
oh my
You
God.
waited too long, Winnie, because it's already past quitting time.
Well, it's because Steve didn't get in touch with me. He's distraught. Steve Goncalves. I know him too.
He will be distraught, won't he? If the other three families
Can you
just went
imagine?
along with it, he was hoping for more.
Yeah, and he'll be standing alone against those families because
Yeah.
him and Christy were like, no way. Like, death for death. That's what
Yeah.
he said. Death
I mean,
for
I got
death.
the impression that the Shapings just wanted it over with, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, they don't want nothing to do with it. They
No.
didn't want to go to court. They didn't want to. And just recently they said, well, we've decided somebody was going to be in court because we want someone to represent Ethan.
Yeah.
So, but I think they're just happy just to be done with it.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't come back and bite him in the ass. Now, I'm not trying to re-victimize the victims, but I think maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it, and I'll take whatever backlash I get. All of the family members, of course, they all just, it just breaks your heart to listen to him talk. It's no different with Ethan Chapin's parents, but for me, the Stacy Chapin, Ethan's mom, it just sounds like that she's telling your kids and you should always tell people we're going to get through it. This isn't changing us,
Yeah.
because I guess whenever they left the police station, she turned around, she had the other two in her car, and she turned around, looked at me, she said, this will not sink us.
Yeah.
And then they did everything privately and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, you can have, like, I could tell my kids, like, we're still family and we're going to get through this and we're all going to be fine. We're going to live on and we've got to live our lives. But one could be straggling behind, dealing with a lot of depression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all your pep talking in the world and all your, like, no, we're not looking behind, and no, we're not going to trial. instead of letting the adults make their decision, if that's what's actually being done for them, that could come back to bite you in the ass later.
Yeah.
Because a family can be strong together, but sometimes we can't be strong alone.
No.
Everybody's different. I mean, I
I
don't
think
know
they should all.
I mean,
how
you
do
got
you
to
guys
remember,
feel?
you got to remember their kids, they're triplets. They've a close bond. So who knows what the brother and sister are feeling and going through. They can, mum can say we're going to be strong and we'll get through it, and that's all great for them. But maybe not everybody feels strong or will feel strong.
Right.
Oh,
Because I would imagine somebody in my family would say, Mom, I get it. Like, I get you don't want to go to trial. I
yeah,
get dad doesn't want to go, but guess what? I want to go.
yeah, exactly.
I just wonder if they were given the opportunity. And it's not my business, but
Yeah,
what do you think, Miss Barbara?
I
I
think
mean,
they all should be in therapy. I know that.
yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
I
Because I don't think they've faced it. I really don't. I think they. I mean, the way the mum behaves, I think is strange anyway. But and if you look at Dad when it first happened, the dad just didn't say anything. Did he? He was very quiet. He looked absolutely heartbroken. It's just odd, the interviews I've seen with him are odd, and it just looks to me like they're a family that have, tried to move on, but they haven't dealt with it, and I feel like at some point they're going to come crashing down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Lizzo.
They
That
haven't dealt
happens.
with that.
I think that happens quite a lot too, especially as moms. We rally our troops. We get our little ducklings together, like, we're the cheerleaders, even though
Yeah,
we're dying inside.
yeah,
Let's just face it.
yeah,
But we've got more. But when I would see the parents together, I could tell that he's more of an introverted type person, and she is the speaker for the family. But
yeah,
you have to wonder, were the kids not going to go? Because remember, they didn't even show up to the memorial that was put on by the school for all four students. Remember, they didn't go to the memorial.
right,
Ethan's best friend that found them is the one that actually spoke for Ethan.
right.
And so is it the mom? Are they just honoring the mom's feelings when they're like, okay, we won't go? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's the mum that's, kind of dictating how they're going to do it, how they're going to get
Yeah,
through.
I really hope not, but I could see that.
Yeah,
And that's just the vibe that I've always gotten, because no two kids are the same. None. So you can't tell me both of those kids that are left are feeling exactly how their mom's feeling. You know what I
Right.
mean?
yeah,
Or exactly how their dad's feeling, or exactly how each other's feeling.
exactly. They
Like
don't all
Lizzo
grieve the
said,
same.
that they were triplets,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and multiple siblings like that have a much stronger bond
yeah.
than just regular siblings.
So they're not going to be grieving in the same way. That each person's grief is going to be different. Mum
Right.
can't like dictate how they're all going to grieve.
Y'all, I have such some good stuff to talk about. Maybe I still will talk about it. And it had to do with I knew exactly what we were gonna do on Wednesday, and we were gonna cover the fraternity again. And things that I had some things that had come to my mind about it. And then when I was going back over interviews with the guys from the fraternity and the guys out at Banfield and stuff, and something struck me, and I was like, wow. So I think I still might, because obviously we know now that the fraternity, I've always known, but people that worried about the fraternity, they had nothing at all to do with this. Brian Kohberger did this himself.
Yeah,
And did he plan on killing four? No. How can one man kill four? Well, he didn't plan on it, assholes. But he had to do what he had to do.
yeah,
So that's what this Wednesday was going to be like. And maybe we'll still talk. I think, like Lizzo, I think this is going to be an in and out kind of quick court hearing, and
Yeah.
they're going to shuffle out, and then that's going to be that. So we could go back over the fraternity thing and just some of the things that I've come to. But um and then I just think of all those people, all those channels out there that are conspiracy channels saying this is a
Mhm.
hoax.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Yeah.
What's
I
the
mean,
cartel?
or the
you see,
cartel, or the cartel.
I I'm not glad that they've come to this decision, but I did have my concerns, not because I believed he was innocent, because I do believe he's guilty.
Right.
But when I was looking at what evidence they've got, I mean, obviously, I don't know the full amount of the evidence that they've got, but it could have all been argued. And then all this stuff that's come out, and the fact that the death penalty is on the table, I felt that could cause them to say they couldn't find him guilty beyond reasonable doubt, and that then he would get off with it altogether. That was my concern.
Yeah.
But like, if it wasn't the death penalty, then I think it wouldn't have been a problem. You would have got a guilty without a doubt. But would a jury have a problem convicting him and finding him guilty
Oh, yeah.
because it's a death penalty?
I don't know. I still think there was I mean, and that's the difference in people, right? What I see, you may not see. I may say it green, you say it blue.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for me as a jury member, what I was seeing, I was like, this guy's as guilty as fuck. But you know
Oh
what?
yeah.
All they needed was one person to say, but I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
saying he didn't kill those people, but
That's it.
you know
It's
what I mean?
all
And
it
that's
takes
all they
for one to
needed.
be swayed, and that
Yeah.
it can throw the whole thing. And then you've got people that are going to be thinking, yeah, well, we're putting this guy to death, and are we absolutely positive? And then when they start breaking it down, what evidence they've got, and they could say, well, yeah, they've got the DNA, but with no evidence, we haven't got proof he was actually in there. What proof do we have that he was actually there? All those things, because the death penalty is on the table. I think, like you say, it only takes one at jurors
Hmm.
be unsure about that, and it throws the whole thing. So at least we know that he's never going to come out. He's in there for life now. It's a
Yeah.
definite conviction, and I'm glad about that.
I
Well,
have
what's
to
the
agree about the jurors. I think that when it came right down to it, there might be some that in the end their conscience said to them, I can't put agree to put anybody to death.
Yeah.
yeah. What do you guys think about this? How long do you think it's going to come out from the pro burgers that he was coerced
Oh,
into taking
they're
a
going to be
plea?
straight on that straight away, because they're going to want to cover their own. They don't want to look stupid.
Yeah,
They're going to come up with some other wacky story.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And the people who say it's a hoax, they're going to be like, well, just him pleading guilty, he could be a part of the government cover.
Oh yeah.
Okay, like we need a
Oh.
government cover up in Idaho. Did you guys know that? Idaho is so listen, you guys, you didn't know this, but I'm just telling you, probably I probably need to get protection, but because the Secret Service is gonna come to my door. But I'm gonna go ahead and be the whistleblower.
It's
Idaho
ridiculous.
is Idaho is really, really dangerous for our country. That the government had to do some kind of cover up with these some kind of hoax with these four precious people that we know for sure existed and that they've been put in witness protection. Y'all, Idaho
Yeah,
is
they're not
dangerous to
really
our
dead. Yeah.
yeah. They're
Oh,
in
I mean,
the
I'd just love to do. I'd love to see an interview with Max Smith. I just want to know, how you know, his hoax is going.
oh my god. It's just and to be fair, it's not just him. It's that whole thing. Although I'm gonna say it right here, and I don't really give a damn because right now Maggie's not on panel to slap me around. because she said I am absolutely not allowed to mention him. But
Oh,
so I'm going to take advantage of it since Mags went to bed. But the only reason I believe Max is saying it's a hoax is to come against me. And what
I
the man's got against me, I don't know. I think
I
he's in love
don't
with me. Max, are you in love with me?
know.
It's kind of like on the playground. Remember how the little boy who just adored you and just was in love with you, he pimped you and be mean to you, but he really, really loved you? I think that's what's going
Yeah.
on with Maxie Poo. He's like, I love
Oh,
that.
Lainey,
I love
you're
that
gonna
lady.
break Rose's heart because Rose is in love with him.
Well, listen, listen, I can't listen. That's a her problem. All I know is I affect people, either good or bad. So no, but in all seriousness, um, I'm just waiting, and I think I'm probably gonna blow my top whenever I hear something from the Pro-Burger saying that, that doesn't mean anything. It's just the finishing of the cover up or whatever.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because all those
what?
kids were involved in the cartel, and they were a great big bunch of drug runners.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, some of these pro burgers, that I've sort of dipped in and had a look at what they're saying. They've seemed so convincing with their arguments. They've really had some very in-depth, laid out arguments. Some of them.
The ones that have come into our channel?
No,
Oh, because I was
like
gonna say I'm pretty sure I had an answer for everyone that came in and said
oh
something.
yeah, you
I
did.
had it in
No,
facts.
some of these others that I've just seen them come up, and I've just nipped in and listened, and they've got like charts and things.
Yeah,
And I mean, one that I saw the other day that had this whole Aryan nation family and everything, and it's like, what the hell? They'd really gone deep into all this stuff.
yeah.
Um, I mean,
But
it's
at the same
ridiculous.
time, those same people that have gone deep into stuff and are accusing people or somebody else of doing it because of whatever, they're negating everything. So what they're saying is all the evidence against Brian Kohberger is not throw it all away because I found this and I'm smarter than every law enforcement that's ever worked on it.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, I just choose to believe that if you are a content creator spewing this stuff, even me, I could be on YouTube I could live to be 100 and be on YouTube. God forgive me because I'd live a sorry life. But there's no way you can convince me that if I did true crime from the second I got up to the second I went to bed and I lived another 50 years, would I ever be as smart as an investigator or a police officer that has worked it for 10 years?
yeah,
I'm sorry, you can't convince me of that. You just can't. Just
exactly.
like,
They only
ju-
have the same access as anybody else.
that's
We
right.
can only go on what we're seeing in the court documents. That's the only thing you can trust is the court documents. They
Right.
have
And then
no more than anyone else.
right. And not only do they have special training as to what to look for, and let's face it, a lot of things that people on YouTube, true crime creators on YouTube, have found out what to look for is by listening to like Police Off the Cuff, Duty Ron, because you would have never thought, oh, that's a good idea. Let me go check that out. You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
have been taught how to investigate by CSI, by TV, by
yeah,
J. Brad. We've been taught. It's not anything we came up with. You know what I mean? And there's a reason why only certain amount of people that are selected to be investigators. I mean,
yeah,
you have to have a mind for it, right? Me,
Right.
I've got a mind for taking pictures of gory dead bodies. I'd be like, I got this. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me what angles to get. I got you. I will get those angles and 20 more that you never even thought of. That's going to help you solve your case because I'm into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're so weird. You should have
I
been a
am
crime
weird.
scene
I
investigator.
know. But it's the same thing with any job, right? So I don't. I am not um, ignorant enough to think that I'm smarter than any investigator out there. Any police officer that's worked the beat,
Yeah.
they think differently than I do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So a lot of stuff that I've learned from them.
Yep.
I'll be right back, ladies. I have to visit the restroom.
I hope everything comes out all right.
Me too.
Liza, I'm smoking. Do you want to read chat really quick
Hold
and
on.
tell everybody to shut the hell up? I'll be right back. I'll sit here with you.
Chat. Right. Yep. Got it up. All right, let's go and have a look and see where we are. Where are we up to?
Any pro burgers come in to tell me to shut the hell up?
Not that I can see. I'll see. Never know when it comes to
You never know.
the higher up people in our society. They'll do anything for money. Well,
I
yeah.
I agree with that, but not uh develop a hoax
No.
and have to put four families, the whole damn family, and half of the people on that campus into protective custody because somebody might run their mouth.
Yeah. Ah. So Bees thinks the fraternity knows, but what do you mean by the fraternity knows? Do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that.
I think she's saying, because she's been saying all along that there was another assailant.
All right. So do you still feel that there's another assailant then?
Yeah, and I think she thinks that it had someone to do with the fraternity. Tune in on Wednesday, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that, which I've
Yeah.
told my thoughts many, many times on it. And I've given you the number one reason why we know for sure that the fraternity is not involved. But I've got something even bigger than that for you guys on Wednesday.
Right. Because I did wonder initially, could somebody else have been involved with him, because that was the one of the first things he said when they arrested him was, "Have you arrested anyone else?" And apparently he asked that twice. He asked then, and he also asked when he was in the jail. One of the coppers said that he also asked.
But so did Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
was he mimicking Ted Bundy? Did he
Well,
know this was going to blow up?
yeah.
Was he creating reasonable doubt even back then?
Well, yeah, he could have been. I mean, yeah, he knows how all this stuff works, doesn't he? I guess
Yep.
he could have had that all planned out from the start. What he's going to do if he gets arrested,
Right.
you know. I mean, he's certainly a very clever guy. Clearly, he's smart. Be just made, like they say with any criminal, you know, all it takes is one little mistake, and they all
Little
make
mistake.
one. You know,
Hmm.
and
And I
his
do
one
believe
mistake
that.
was his knife sheath.
And I do believe that. My mom used to tell me all the time that even the hardest criminals make a mistake. It's just
Yeah,
whether you find the mistake or not.
that's right. And as it happens, his one mistake was a big one, leaving knife.
Yeah. I still think they would have everything we have seen so far besides the knife sheets is circumstantial. Now,
Yeah,
do I believe they have more on him? Yes, I think there's more DNA. Absolutely, I
I
do.
think must have.
Because the prosecution was just way too like chill. Like, go ahead, Hitler, do
Yeah,
what you got to do because he's guilty as all
right,
get out. And all
right.
y'all know it. You've all seen our paperwork on it. We've already sent in all the discovery. Y'all got it. Quit
Yeah.
playing games.
That's why I'm disappointed that he's offered this plea deal. That's the only reason, because they had the evidence, and it should have been a slam dunk. But maybe he's worried, that what's the possibility that maybe all it takes is one juror to not be able to agree with him,
And
and then
maybe he didn't want to work all the way up until however long this was going to take. I mean, he was
yeah,
going in retirement. They said, one more. We need you to try this case.
yeah,
Yeah, he needs to go out fishing.
Fucker. 'Cause he needs to go out fishing. 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 'Cause he
Um, what B said about the fraternity, that's Baby Child's fraternity, isn't it, Sigma Chi?
Well, I mean, I can tell you guys now. I think some of you have already guessed it, but yes, my son's in Sigma Chi, and that's why I found out a lot of stuff I haven't even told you guys.
And when I worked at the University of Arizona, Sigma Chi is a very prestigious
Very
fraternity
prestigious.
all across the country and
Yep.
beyond.
Yep. Not saying that they don't have some bad eggs, but they
Well,
get rid
right,
of
but
they get rid of the bad eggs. They
I don't
can that
think
in
they'd have.
fact that's one of the things that Baby Child does. And he goes to different fraternities. You guys ask why he travels a lot. He goes to different fraternities that are in trouble with hazing and things like that. He goes over everything and he tells their consul, which is another word for president.
He
Um,
slaps them into
yep,
shape.
and he tells them we're getting rid of this one, we're getting rid of this one, and we're getting rid of this one. And then he gives classes on it, and he just um. So yeah, well, I have a lot to say about Sigma Chi whenever on Wednesday.
Yeah, Sigma Chi was I think the most prestigious fraternity on the campus here. And University of Arizona is a very big university.
It's a very great campus. It's a great campus. Go ahead, Liz. What else we got, honey?
Nothing else at the minute.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Let's turn to the news a little bit. Let's pull up some news articles.
I
See
mean,
what
I
we
know
got
that
out there.
they've already shown a clip of is it that TV documentary that's coming out? What's his the lad and the lass that went in the house? Hunter and Emily. They've already shown a clip.
Really, Hunter? Did they give an interview?
Yeah, Hunter and Emily did. Yeah.
All right. Let me pull up some stuff. Give me
So,
just a second. Lunch lady, don't be calling Maggie in here to get on to me. She'll be yelling at me tomorrow. I guarantee you. Listen, I have to get through it. I mean, now Max shouldn't be able to say anything bad about me, except for that he really loves me. I'm his Darla, and he's Alfalfa. Except
Oh,
for I think he looks.
Darla. I thought, who the hell is she talking about?
He's singing that song to me. What song did Alfalfa sing to
Oh,
Darla?
God, I can't
I'll look it
remember.
up. Hold on. Let's play it. This is mine and Max's song. Hold on. Alfalfa sings to Darla. Maggie's going to have my ass tomorrow.
I'll see he's puking.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is it, guys. This is that I found it. Hold on. This is Max singing to Leanie, okay? Ready? Oh.
You are so beautiful. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need.
Go, Max. Go, Max.
You are so beautiful to me.
Yo.
Oh God.
No, we don't sing that.
That's
It's
great.
okay. It's okay. All right, let me pull up the news really quick, guys. Let's see what we've got. Kohberger news. Oh, come on. That's not it. Oh, here we go, guys. This is ABC News. Fuck it, Ann. Is she smiling?
Sure
Oh,
she is.
bitch. Beat her ass. All right, hold on. Let me pull this up. Make it big. All right. I won't be in chat, guys. I guess you guys already guessed that. All right. This is out of ABC News. This is their work. And June 30th, 8:12 p.m. This is what, let's just listen to it.
We have some breaking news here on ABC News Live Reports. I'm Alex Crochet in Washington. Right now, we are following news out of Idaho. Brian Kohberger, accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students in 2022, has accepted a plea deal. ABC News has confirmed that he has agreed to plead guilty to all counts. ABC News Live anchor Kana Whitworth is on the phone with us. She has been following this case from the beginning. And Kana, what details can you share with us about how this deal came together?
Yeah, Alex, I mean, this is simply a stunning turn of events in a case that has gripped this entire nation. Up until today, we were looking at an August 18th trial date with Brian Kohberger's life on the line. What we know now from families who received a letter is that Brian Kohberger has accepted a plea deal. In part of this plea deal, the defendant will plead guilty to all counts listed in the indictment. So that is 4 counts of murder as well as a burglary count as well. He will serve 4 life sentences consecutively with no possibility of parole.
Fucking dickhead.
And the defendant will waive all rights to appeal this conviction as well. It also sounds like they will be seeking some restitution for families. This is things like money for funeral expenses and, victims' compensation. The next thing that's happening, Alex, is there will be a change of plea hearing, and that is this Wednesday, July 2nd. And so for some, this may be some finality and some closure. For others, you have to imagine, Alex, there are so many unanswered questions in this case, and I'm sure that there's fear that those questions will remain unanswered. But here we are after more than 2 years, the one and only suspect in the Idaho college murders case, the man who stood accused of murdering Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Ethan Chapin. His name is Brian Kohberger, and he has accepted a plea deal.
You dick.
Well, and listen, Kana, of all the trials, it feels like we've been keeping track of over the last several weeks. This was the one that we anticipated was at least going to have some sort of resolution later on in the year at the earliest. But for our viewers that are just kind of catching up, can you walk us through what the past several months have been like with this case?
It's been tumultuous. There has been filing after filing and pushback from the defense, initially trying to delay the trial. They have maintained their client's innocence this entire time. They wanted to have the death penalty taken off the table. They tried many times unsuccessfully for that to happen. In the meantime, this has been under a gag order. So people involved in this case have not been able to speak out about it, which is why so much of this case has been shrouded in secrecy. And we thought that it was going to go to trial in Moscow, and then it got moved down to Boise, and then it got pushed back yet again. And so here we are now, about a month before this trial was supposed to start, and we have learned that instead of a trial, there will be a plea deal.
And Kana, do we know that in this plea deal, was there anything that was taken off the table? Was the death penalty taken off the table?
You just said that, dumbass.
Taken off the table. So exactly, in exchange for pleading guilty, the death penalty will be taken off the table. It's a pretty standard cut and dry plea deal. There weren't very many concessions, which you have to imagine there may have been families out there that wanted concessions like that.
Well, and the other thing is, because we just saw your interview earlier today with the friends of some of these victims. I don't know if you've had a chance to speak with them since this news, but for our viewers, how are they hoping to remember their best friends?
It's so important, after speaking with Emily Lant and Hunter Johnson, the two that were the first to arrive at that King Road home, that the world remember their friends for how they lived their lives and not for their last day, not for how they died. I had a chance to speak with Ethan Chapin's entire family as well, and their family motto is to live like Ethan. He was a beaming, bright ray of sunshine. All of these kids were really described in that manner, and that's what's the most important here, is that we remember these kids, we remember how they lived, and we don't lose sight of the families here. Maybe there's finality here, but they never get to wake up with their kids ever again.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. I remember in that interview hearing one of the friends talking about how they really kind of rejected this label of the Idaho Four, because you had four individuals who had, different personalities and very much their own identities here, and that's something that we certainly don't want to lose. Kana, if you don't mind sticking around, I want to bring in our legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer, who's also with us right now. And Brian, first off, did this deal surprise you?
Oh, Alex, absolutely. This is shocking and surprising for a number of reasons. Now, whenever you have a death penalty case, the major issue or major concern that a defense attorney will have is trying to get that off the table. And so understanding there's a plea deal where Brian Kohberger will not be put to death, especially in a state that has such, let's say, wide-reaching ways in which they can employ the death penalty, that makes sense. But he's still going to die within prison. I mean, this sentence is 4 consecutive life sentence. No one lives that long, especially not in prison. So I would have thought, based on the offer that was given, he would have still have gone to trial because it's death one way or another.
Well, and also the timing of this, Brian. I mean, is there anything to glean from that?
Let me stop that. That's a good point. That is a good point. Listen, he said that he's going to die in prison.
Yeah.
Right? He said no matter what, he's going to die in prison. Why wouldn't you roll the dice?
Yeah.
Why? That's why I'm telling you there's more evidence than what we know. Because if it was my client, and I didn't think about that until just when he said that, he's going to die in prison regardless, whether it's 20 years from now by firing squad or 50 years or 60 years from now, right? Why wouldn't you just roll those dice and try to convince that one person?
Yeah,
Because he's afraid. He's afraid to
all
die.
she has to do, Ann Taylor, all she has to do is put a little bit of doubt in one person's mind.
So, Barbara, you think it's because he was afraid to die?
Yeah.
But he's going to die anyways.
Well, yeah, but...
Or you talk about the method of dying, like somebody taking your life dying.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think if it was my client, I would say, let's roll the dice. Listen, this is how it's going down. If we can convince just one person, just one, then, things can change.
Yeah.
But I think it's because they have seen all of the evidence, the stuff that we haven't seen, and they're like, there's no way that a jury is not going to say you're completely guilty of every bit of this and probably more.
Yeah.
Lunch Lady said because he's a coward, he doesn't want to face his maker either way. Maybe he's buying himself some more time on this earth. I'm going to tell you what, if I had to go face the big boys over in the pen, and what they're going to do to him, even if they don't kill him, but just what they're going to turn him into, and
he's going to make them they're going to make him their little bitch.
Yes, and it's going to be every day of his life. He's going to have to live in fear, which, when you think about it, that's not a bad way to be.
Yeah, look what happened to Jeffrey Dahmer when he was in.
Yeah. So, but I think as his attorney, I would have said, we're going to roll the dice. Because what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
I mean, if you put it before me, look, Leanie, you're gonna go out in 20 years by a bullet, or you're gonna go out in in 20 years in by natural causes or whatever, I'm going to say a bullet. You're going to go out by worrying every day for the rest of your life of what's going to happen to you next by somebody in there, and that people are wanting to kill you in there. At any moment could be your last breath. I would say, give me the bullet, because
I don't think he thinks that anything's going to happen to him in prison.
oh my god, I guess he didn't do enough criminology. All right, let's finish this up.
About that August 18th trial date, essentially.
Yeah, so plea deals always get their best the closer you get to trial. And there's a number of factors that go into it. If you think about it from a defense attorney's side of view, or even the defendant's point of view, they're getting nervous. They're getting worried. Whether you're innocent or guilty, or you believe yourself one way or the other, having your life in the hands of 12 people that you've never met before can be very, can shake you to your core in many ways. And for the government, they're thinking about putting on these witnesses, putting on people who are going to testify about some of the most horrific events that happened probably in this community, and putting the family through this all. And so they're thinking about sparing the family. Now, we know at least to some degree that a letter must have been sent to the families to okay this. And so the families, at least on their face until we hear otherwise, presumably were okay with this offer that Brian Kohberger would spend the rest of his natural life in prison without having to be subjected to the photos, the testimony, and the imagery that would have come from this trial.
What do you make of his defense team's strategy in this case?
I think it made sense. This is a defense team that was a public defender office from a neighboring county facing a death penalty case. And what you do with that is you fight zealously and vigorously to save that person's life. And in some regards, and in many regards, actually, they achieve that here. Brian Kohberger will not be put to death by the state, and instead will spend the rest of his natural life behind bars. And in a death penalty case, as I said earlier, that is in many ways a victory. And you make every argument you can, not just for the trial court, but also for appeals. And I think with here, they're going to walk away saying their client accepted a deal. Their client obviously knew, or hopefully knew what they were facing, understood what they were facing, and we'll find out on July 2nd if this actually happens, because a plea doesn't happen until they actually say the words. There have been many instances where people agree to a plea deal and then ultimately reject it at the 11th hour.
Let's pray, you guys. Let's pray.
I think the strategy made sense. They got in many regards what they were looking for, and I think we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
All right. Our thanks to Brian and Kana. But yes, breaking news today, according to a letter sent to the victim's family, Brian Kohberger has agreed to plead guilty on all counts. He will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences and waives the right to appeal. Be sure to catch Kana's.
I mean, I guess all we can do now is just hope that he's that arrogant, that he is just like, psych, let's go. But I'm sure his attorneys at this point, I mean, it's already out there, right? It's already out there.
Yeah.
That he was willing to take a plea deal. But I would really be surprised if his attorneys, if he ever started thinking that maybe he could retract it and just say, let's go to trial, that his attorneys are going, it's already out there.
Yeah.
Lunch Lady said he should have to live in fear every second of every day. That's worse than facing the bullet. The unknown and a bunch of men getting at you sounds like awful to me. Yeah, me too. Me too. Let me see real quick if I can find where Hunter Johnson and Emily talk. All right. Okay. Let's do this here. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it so much. hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. It really just doesn't matter. Just do something. Let everybody know we're here. Let's do this one 4 hours ago. Make sure it's big here. Okay. Hopefully this has got, I'm not accepting, no. Okay. So, let's see, heated fire. All right. Ada County, Idaho. Hunter Johnson and Emily Allant, friends who discovered the bodies of the 4 University of Idaho students in November 2022, spoke publicly for the first time this week on ABC's Good Morning America. Oh, so that wasn't even, when was this? This was June 30th. So this was before the plea deals came out, before it was known that they had a plea deal. Okay, so let's see what they have to say. So it'll probably be here. Oh, wow. Okay. Friends of Idaho College murder victims speak out. So let's hear it. Can you guys see that? Okay. Let's see if I could blow it up. Watch your ears, guys.
Their story for the first time on GMA. Kana Whitworth sat down with them. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, George, good morning to you. Hunter Johnson and Emily Allant were 2 of the first people to arrive at the King Road house that November morning. These are the friends who prompted the 911 call. Their actions described by other families as heroic, but for them, it was a morning that changed everything. And they're speaking out for the first time about what they want people to remember about their friends. It's not just about how they died, but about how they lived.
You know, you see the world in pure innocence, and that all gets ripped away from you in one phone call. That's just the day that changed it all.
This morning, for the first time, the best friends of Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle speaking out about that November day when they discovered Ethan, Xana, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan brutally murdered in an off-campus home.
I don't think anyone expects anything like that ever in their life to happen.
Hunter Johnson and his girlfriend Emily Allant now telling their story in a new Prime Video docuseries, One Night in Idaho, The College Murders.
We were a big group of friends. Why would you target those 4?
Emily says she and Xana were inseparable.
We were attached at the hip probably the first day that we met. Yeah, we just clicked immediately. We were same personalities, I feel like.
I love it when people talk about Ethan and Xana sort of being like male and female versions of each other.
Oh, it's very much true. They were the same person.
Hunter and Emily say the fall weekend started like any other with a big football game. The friends snapping this photo that Saturday.
It was a normal weekend for us, just hanging out with our friends.
The next morning, Emily says Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, called her concerned, asking her and Hunter to come over.
In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. You know, it's something you would never expect.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay there. I was just going over to check, see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
Hunter was the first person to arrive to King Road to discover what happened. Their friend Josie Louderin, who was also there, describing the moments in the docuseries.
As soon as I stepped in the house, I was like, oh, something is so not right. Like, you could feel it almost. Hunter was ahead of me and Emily and immediately was pushed out. And Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911.
You hear Hunter on the 911 call telling the girls there was an unconscious person protecting them from the graphic details.
Is she breathing?
No.
How did you remain so calm in that moment?
Truly, in my heart, I believe God was with me that day, and he gave me the strength to get through that day.
As authorities entered the home, the friends say they were told to sit outside, waiting for hours with little information.
We watched the ambulance come and we watched them immediately leave. So I think that was a hard part for sure.
That second you realize there's no one to be saved.
Right.
Their best friends inexplicably murdered. Not knowing who was responsible or why, they feared for their own safety.
We just left to get away, be safe.
Yeah.
Is our
You didn't feel
mindset.
safe?
No.
In the nearly 7 weeks it took police to arrest a suspect, Emily, Hunter, and surviving roommates Dylan and Bethany
became the targets of online sleuths and social media attacks.
Lots of threats, people saying I should confess to murdering them. I felt like I was less than a person in that point in my life.
On December 30th, 2022, police arrested then 28-year-old Brian Kohberger. To Emily and Hunter, he was a complete stranger. Their murder trial set to begin in August. His attorneys say he's innocent.
Does justice lie in a conviction?
I don't think there's gonna ever be any justice.
I mean, yeah, we can have justice for the conviction of it, but I don't get to still hang out with Ethan. So
They still don't get to.
they don't
Be
have a
with their
son. They don't
child.
have a daughter anymore.
They say they hope people remember who their friends were beyond the headlines.
Who they are as people is so much more than the Idaho 4, and they shouldn't be known as the Idaho 4, and they shouldn't be attached to, you know, the name of who did that to them. And I just think that, you know, hopefully one day that they're just seen as who they are and not what happened to them.
Yeah, Emily went on to tell me they are so much more than their last day. Now, they joined Ethan's family to speak in this docuseries One Night in Idaho, The College Murders, which premieres July 11th on Prime Video. Also, keep in mind, guys, we're closely monitoring a Pennsylvania court today where several potential witnesses for the defense will learn if they need to testify in Idaho when this trial is set to start in August.
Oh,
Mm.
All right, Kana, thank you so much. And
What y'all think?
I think he looks like a shadow of his former self.
I agree. I think, yeah, definitely. He
I
does
think
look like the
terrible.
same kid. He looks like he's got some serious problems, whether it be substance or alcohol or just not eating good.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they all said, well, both of them said that as soon as you entered the house, you knew there was something wrong, and I think that's probably they could smell the blood and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's got to impact them so badly.
Now, you guys notice that they brought up another person that we haven't been privy to yet, right?
Yeah, that there was another
Did
girl with them.
you guys caught that, right? She said the minute I stepped in the house with Emily and
Mhm.
Hunter was ahead of us. I wonder how many of those we're going to hear.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
When it first
So-
came out that they had called the police, and it sounded like there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And where are all the pictures? That's what I want to know. All right. Give me just a minute. I want to see if anything else, if anybody's made any statements.
Do you think those kids any of them would have taken pictures? I think being so young and that they were so much in shock, I don't think they would have done
No,
that.
I don't think they stayed inside long enough to, I'm talking about like pictures from outside. Neighbors just
yeah.
being bugaboos and taking pictures. Y'all I'm a bugaboo. When that murder happened across the street from my daughter, I had her set her phone up in her window and I stood there. Oh, it was terrible hours. I just wanted to see the body come out.
Oh, Lena, you're a case.
And then she was like, Mom, I have a newborn baby. I got to go to bed. I was like, shut the hell up. And I was like, leave the phone in the window. She said, something's wrong with you. I said, I know. No, she went to bed. She was only asleep 2 hours before her baby woke up. She looked back out the window and they were all gone. So she made me just miss it. I was like, you are not a true sleuth. Let's see.
Well, you should have gotten in your little car and gone over to her house.
But she lived like an hour and a half from me.
Well,
And
so
I
what?
I know, but I wasn't sure if I was going to get there. Oh, when her husband was shitty, he was like, you guys don't, when it first happened, she's like, Mom, I think we've got a true real life crime happening across the street. I thought she was fucking with me. Like her husband had done something weird and he's criminal. And she called me and she's like, no, really. She's like, got yellow tape. They're wrapping yellow tape around the house. There's all kind of CID cars out here and this and that and the other. It's like, oh my God. And so we're FaceTiming and she's showing me all this shit. And her husband's like, you two knock it off. It doesn't, they could have had a party last night and someone passed out. I was like, you dummy. They don't put yellow tape up because someone passed out at a party, you ass. I was like, go away. Just go away. Someone passed out at a party, so let's put some yellow tape up. Oh my God. I was like, and you spent 23 years in the military? What does this world come to?
What are you doing?
I'm looking up if there has been any interviews.
See if Nancy has put anything out.
All right, this one says family members confirm Brian Kohberger guilty plea deal. Then they react, and then well, here's News Nation. I don't know who's reporting on that. Let's see. Let me see who's doing the report on News Nation. Oh, Brian Hinton's on there, y'all. We have to watch it because y'all know he's my boo.
Yeah, he's a good friend of yours.
I love me some Brian. Y'all, he'd have to look at him. I'm going to tell you right now. Slap it, flip it, rub it down. Love me some Brian Hinton. All right, hold on. All right, y'all see that? Let me make it bigger. Bigger, bigger, bigger. Bigger is always better. All right, watch your ears.
Are in shock. Nobody seems to have seen this coming.
Up all
Are
the
you
way.
as shocked as everybody else watching this?
Yes, I am not only in shock, I think I share with Brian a bit of sadness as well, because Elizabeth, you've done this job long enough to know that there's always two sides of a courtroom, and one side will be unhappy. It doesn't mean that justice doesn't prevail. This is a different kind of justice. It doesn't feel like justice for a lot of people. Sure as hell doesn't feel like justice for Steve Gonzalez and his family, Kaylee's family. The other families, they weren't all in unison on the death penalty being mandatory in order to feel whole again. They'll never feel whole. Many of them didn't care at this point because they weren't getting their kids back. So it's really hard on the Gonzalez family because they did not want this. And families matter. Prosecutors take into account what victims' families want and don't want. Chris Watts' families, victims' family members said, okay, take death off the table. Let him plead guilty. Let him go behind bars for the rest of his life with no opportunity for parole and no opportunity for an appeal. And we're fine with it. But these families didn't all feel the same way. This is why I'm processing a lot at this point, just to strictly covering the justice of it. I don't know that everybody's feeling justice.
Why, Ashley, would prosecutors make this offer, and why didn't they reach out to the families to tell them? It feels like, I mean, this is all breaking as we speak. The families are just now issuing these statements, but it sure sounds like they weren't consulted. At least the Gonzalez family says it doesn't sound like they were.
So that's a tough one. Everybody operates differently. Every state operates differently, and then every jurisdiction within a state operates differently. I know that they've been at loggerheads at times with the Gonzalez family because they've been very vocal, and there's been this gag order. It's possible that we don't know. I reached out to Steve Gonzalez a little while ago. He's clearly processing a lot, but I haven't heard whether it is true. In fact, he didn't have any consultation prior to this. I would have a hard time believing there was no consultation prior to the media, finding out about it. However, they don't have to. It is certainly difficult if they don't. I would think it really goes against sort of the moral code of victims' rights to not be consulted, at least. Not that your consultation and your opinion is going to carry. That doesn't always happen, but certainly consultation is very important in this day and age in almost every jurisdiction I've ever covered. But I have to get with Steve to find out whether, in fact, he had a consultation, it was unsatisfactory, and the prosecution went ahead anyway.
Brian, the evidence against Brian Kohberger is overwhelming, and that might be an understatement. There was a massive amount of physical evidence, of digital evidence that all pointed to one person and one person only, and that was Brian Kohberger. It feels like to many, and I'm curious what your thoughts are, like a slam dunk case. Why wouldn't the prosecution want to bring this case?
Okay, well, first of all, I have sources who have told me that the family members were consulted, but it was a last-minute consultation. They have been led to believe all along that this thing was going to trial. They have booked Airbnbs for 3 months. They've got plans. They've taken time off work. They were told we're going all the way with the death penalty, and they were not told until the very last minute, not long before I found out that this was going down. So there was a consultation, but it wasn't a very good consultation.
That doesn't sound like a consultation. That sounds like we're letting you know this is happening.
Yeah. Yes, I think they pretended. This is my take. They pretended to consult, but they had their mind made up. There were backroom negotiations happening, I believe, with the defense since at least Friday. That's what I believe.
Me too.
In terms of why the prosecution may want to do this. You know how it works when you get on death row. Even if they got a conviction, even if then at sentencing the jury said yes to death unanimously, there are people in Idaho who have been on death row for 30 and 40 years. These families would have to go through all of this for decades. Some of the victims' parents may not even be alive when Brian Kohberger is executed. They would have to be reminded during all of the appeals, et cetera, et cetera. Also, there are surviving victims. Let's not forget about the roommates who are going to have to testify and probably be, thrown under the bus by the defense and have to go through that. I'm sure that came into play with the prosecution. But I agree with Ashley. I am saddened for some of these family members because we have gotten to know them and they have been led along to believe that there was going to be a trial for 2.5 years and not given any information. There's been a gag order and, you just wait for the big day. Just wait for the big day, the big show, the big trial. And now suddenly they've been told that's not happening.
Y'all, what says you?
It's sad, isn't it? I mean, I don't know.
Isn't that just? I mean, what are you supposed to feel? I mean, they got a point when they're saying, what about the surviving roommates?
Yeah.
And having to drag them back through this. And the media is going to have a circus with them. And then that's not even nothing compared to what the socials are going to do to them. I mean, they've already had their lives turned upside down with all of this. So, I mean, how many years were they going to, for the rest of their life, be drugged through the social medias?
Yeah, I guess it was pretty selfish of me to not think about.
I mean, me too.
What we do to them.
I mean, me too. I mean, I was just thinking about what I was going to get to see and hear. But no, really just feeling like just seeing it through and just sticking it and twisting it to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
this could be realistically with the death penalty, it can take years and years. The likelihood it could possibly die of natural causes before then.
Yeah.
Even got to that, or even someone in prison take him out. So I don't know. It just takes that long, doesn't it, for him to get actual point of death.
I think they could get a lot of people to donate to get somebody to take him out.
Don't say that in front of JB.
oh, JB, don't listen. Plug your ears.
Yeah, you're not just like all of us out here in our everyday lives. You can't please everybody. So I guess I guess you have to pick the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah. I can see it from all sides. I can see why Gonsalves family are sad and angry. I get that.
Let's jump in chat. RC says, how many people have been convicted in a crime and we find out they didn't even when it comes to murder? Remember the guy in Texas executed a prosecutor's begged a judge said no, just one of many. Look, I listen, I never, ever want an innocent man to spend one day in jail. But there, in my eyes, of watching this case from the very beginning, and now that everybody knows that my kid's in Sigma Chi, of course it caught my attention right away. My boy was a freshman. He had just pledged to Sigma Chi, and this comes out, and I'm like, wait, what? And so I had to do a lot. I had to act, is this what Greek life is about? Is this what Sigma Chi stands for? You guys, the Animal House with John Belushi in it. I mean, what the hell's happening here, And he helped me through a lot of it. He helped me understand a lot of it. So for me, it was a cut and dry case. Like they said, the digital evidence, the DNA evidence, and I believe there's more. But the knife sheath was enough for me because it corroborates. I mean, all of the video footage of the car. How many put the car video with the timestamps of his phone. Put the car video with the timestamps of other GPS that they may or may not have. I mean, that we've got satellites up in the sky. Has anybody talked about that? Have they pulled satellite? I'm sure they did. They would know better than me. So, I mean, you could turn your phone off and satellite. How many of you guys ever clicked Google Earth and put your address in? You ever done that before?
Yeah.
It's great fun. So, we don't know what all they've got, and we won't know. But if they have nothing else, everything corroborated something else for me. And I'm sorry, I believe that there could be coincidences every great now and then, but I would rather give God the glory than to give happenstance the glory, because I think all good things come from God. And this man being found the way that, I believe that was a gift from God that God gave the families. And I just don't believe in that much coincidence. So I don't believe the wrong person was going to go to prison or go to the death penalty. Melly Joe, welcome in, my sister. Yeah, it's
I think we've just got to see it as it is a win. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it is. It is a win.
Right.
It does feel.
I want to.
Because what if it did go to trial, and when it came to the, the jury deliberating, and there very well could have been one person who couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, and then he would have gotten off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys, it's a lot easier to prove wrongful death. It's a lot easier to prove wrongful death. And I'm telling you, I really believe that the Goncalves family will bring that against him, and that will be televised. And so we'll find out a lot more than what we know today, because it will be a trial.
Yeah.
Jay Brad says the death penalty would have families waiting on phone calls for years about a date set, his demise, and the ticking clock, and they get a date over their heads, it's over. Yeah, and I mean, at first when we first all came on, I think natural reaction was just shock, and then pissed off, and then sad. And now I can see all sides now, and you just have to believe that God knows what he's doing, and then wait for all of everything to come out and get pissed off with the Goncalves family, but at the same time be happy for those that didn't want to go to and see it. You know what I mean? So I think we can do both. We
Yeah.
can with the Goncalves family, we could be pissed off and feel like, yeah, y'all were done dirty. So let's get to a wrongful death suit. You know what I mean? And have him stand before you and the judge tell him, you're guilty, sir. And then for the families like the Chapins who never wanted to go to a trial, for the surviving roommates whose lives have been turned upside down.
Mhm.
For those people, we can be happy for them that it's over. And one day they won't be listen, the Idaho 4, I know what they want. The Idaho 4 for me will always be the Idaho 4. And I think for everybody who's covered this case, been a part of this case in any way, when somebody brings up the Idaho 4, we'll all know who they're talking about. It's not a name they're going to get away with, away from. You know what I mean? We remember them as individuals, but they died together. That's pretty special. You're bonded in death. And that's just the way that it is. Digital Maniac. Through this case, we have met Digital Maniac, and he or she have sent me a couple of things in the 21 weeks that we've all been together. It's been good to get to know you. I hope you'll stick around, hang out with us whenever you feel like it, and just want to appreciate you for being invested in the case as well, and helping in chat and stuff like that, and keep my mind wandering. So hope you stick around. B says, I thought I saw a small cut on his thumb when I put him on the 85-inch. Oh, no, it was, listen, it was 7 weeks. Well, at that point, it was a little over 6 weeks when those pictures were taken of him, unless he had a cut deep enough where he would need stitches. And even then, you probably wouldn't see a cut on him. It doesn't take that. You get stitches out like 4, 5, 6 days, and then
Yeah,
it
if it
goes
hadn't
over.
healed by then he
Yeah.
was in big trouble.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that, and then it's been proven that we did what we thought was some bruising. It was actually it was shadow. And the reason why we know that is because I bruise very easy, very, very easy. And, but my bruises don't last for 7 weeks. The worst of the worst bruising on me does not last 7 weeks. The digital was enough to get Alec Murdaugh. Right. I mean, we don't know what they got. I think we're going to be blown away. I did say when to start. With, but was screamed at Leanie. Does anybody understand, JB?
I did say but
She quit speaking English. Maybe she's speaking y'all's language. Tell me what she said.
She said, I did say when to start with, but was screamed at, Leanie.
Oh, so you said the satellites? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know what she's on about.
Well, then I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all, I mean, just what we have found out just in the last 2 things that we saw. I mean, it's already coming. I cannot wait. Let me see anything else. Hold on. That fucking dick. I wonder where he's at. I wonder if he's talked to his family. You shamed us. You shamed us.
Do you think his dad knew?
You know, I don't think his dad knew when he came to pick him up. And the reason why I don't is because His dad was just as loopy and ditzy. That's what, when I was looking at the video of the police pull his dad over and he's like, yeah, there's some murders back there. And the cop's like, what? You know, there's murders back there. We're just trying to get Pennsylvania. Our Amish family's waiting on us. No, he's just ditzy as fuck. He didn't look nervous. You know who looked nervous? Was Brian looking at his dad like, shut the fuck up, Dad. Nobody cares. That's what I don't think. So at that, up till that point, no, I don't think his dad knew. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he seemed a bit slow.
Yeah, there was some. Listen,
But don't you think it's odd for a man that age to go fly to Washington State to drive back with his son? The kid was almost 30.
Yeah, but he was the baby boy.
I don't care.
Oh, I listen. If baby child calls me and there says, "Listen, if any of my kids, I'm not gonna lie, Mom, I'm gonna drive that by myself." I'm gonna be like, "Baby, Mama's coming. Don't you worry about that. Come and get my babies."
No.
Shit. No, I don't. I think he was the baby boy. I just do.
Yeah.
He would have made a terrible husband because he would have been like, thank God he was an incel, because he would have made a his poor wife, if he had been some kind of normal that he could have not killed people and could have gotten married, his poor wife was going to be expected to cook everything like his mama. She was going to have to take cooking lessons from his mama and how to wash his clothes like his mama. She'd probably wake up to his mama dusting their bedroom every morning at 6 o'clock. And she's, what the fuck? And she's holding her kid. All right, picture it with me, girls. Picture. All right, they're laying in bed, right? They're sleeping, right? The alarm goes off, right? They're both naked in the bed.
Oh,
and
God.
she's opening her eyes and she, you know how you rub your eyes, you stretch out. Oh, Brian's laid over, you pat that good husband of yours, right? You open your eyes to your mother-in-law standing in curlers, and she's still got her gown on and her slippers. She drove over to your house like that, and she's got this wrap around her seafoam curler things, pink curlers, right? And she's got a little duster, and the wife is going, Brian, why is your mom in our bedroom, Brian? And then Mama turns around and she's like, honey, I'm just trying to catch up on this filthy place that you have my dear baby child sleeping in. And by the way, Brian, dear, Mama made you some coffee in the kitchen and some French toast to go with it, baby.
Oh,
Go ahead, get up. And then Brian says, Mama, I'm naked. And she's like, honey, it ain't nothing I never seen before. Go ahead and just get in there. And the wife is laying there holding the covers up to her chin. And she's like, what the fuck did I marry? I know that's what would happen.
But then they all would have their medical rubber gloves on.
Yeah, that's true.
Norman Bates and his mum.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. I want to look over at what's on Twitter. If y'all give me just a second. Not Twitter. Let me see what's on Reddit.
And who knows, they may not have their own house. They may have lived with his mother and father.
Oh, that's even better. So mama can watch out.
She can
Knock. Julie, I'm gonna need you to quit making Brian cry like that, Julie. Mama ain't crying. Julie's doing it good. Brian, don't you talk to your mama like that, boy. Julie, you be sweet. Y'all be a little bit more quieter now. Your daddy's trying to sleep. God, guys. Listen. Let's see what this says. Brian Kohberger sets plea deal. Let's see what people are saying. Let's pull it up. I love the nightlife. I got to boogie. I'm getting over it, you guys. I'm getting over it. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm getting over it. Let's see. So this one shows a picture of him, and it was put out three hours ago by Pop Culture Chat, and this is on Reddit. News Nation Now picture. And they just say Brian Kohberger accepts plea deal in Idaho College murder case. Let's see what people are saying. Somebody says, I am shocked. He was so full of himself. Smartest guy in the room type vibe. I thought he was going to end up representing himself. That's what I thought too.
I thought that might happen, like, Ted Bundy.
Go out like Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
They must have presented him with some undeniable evidence. You think? I understand.
Did Ted Bundy represent himself?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
It was almost hysterical.
Yeah,
Answering his own questions, asking his own questions, and answering his own questions on the stand.
He even proposed to that woman.
Yes. He's serious.
I'm gonna have to read about that.
He literally thought he was going to get off. He wasn't being, he was just that sure of himself, because that's another thing him and Brian had in common. They both have criminology degrees. Yeah. They both took psychology classes, right? He just thought he was so charming. That's one thing Brian did not have of Ted Bundy, was he didn't have any confidence.
No, he couldn't pick up the women like Ted Bundy could.
No, Ted Bundy was a good-looking man, and unfortunately, nothing good happens after 7:00 at night.
Well, Kohberger isn't that bad looking, except
I don't think he's that bad looking.
His evil eyes.
Yes, right. And when he looks at it, looks like out of the corner of his eyes. Yeah, there's just nothing there.
Yeah,
but when he's dressed up and his eyebrows have been tinted a little and his hair's done good, he's not that bad looking of a guy.
Yeah.
He's
just fucking evil.
He has no personality in order to talk to people. He can't socialize.
Could you imagine trying to have phone sex with Brian Kohberger? Y'all, listen. You might as well eat a bowl of soup with a fork, and you'll finish that bowl before Brian's even unzipped his pants, because he don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just like, I feel nothing. And you're coming with your best shit, right? You're bringing it, right? You're all seductive. You're just like, yeah, Big Daddy.
And Brian doesn't say a word.
And Brian's like, the fuck is she talking about? Where's Mama? Mama! He's got Mama on the other line. Paid this woman $50. I feel nothing, Mama. Oh, Peter Pecker isn't pecking.
Oh, God.
Oh, all right. So, this one's good. Listen to this, you guys. She says they must have presented him with some undeniable evidence. I understand the family's being pissed. Their feelings are valid, but I hope they find peace knowing he can't escape his punishment with an early death. He will have to rot in prison with regret. He won't. He probably doesn't feel guilty for the rest of his natural life, with no chance of ever appealing or getting paroled. He have a miserable life, motherfucker. And then somebody says this down here. I don't know how true it is. They quote, they must have presented him with some undeniable evidence. This person says they matched the DNA found on the skateboard of the murder knife left at the crime scene with his own from when his parents sent in everyone's for ancestry. That's not what I thought that said, but I'm going to tell you guys this. What's to say that something, some kind of match with the DNA, what was not on what do you call it? The sharpener. Surely he bought a sharpener for something. I think he already had a plan to get rid of that knife. So, do you think he got it and got the sharpener and sharpened that knife?
Before he ever went over there?
Before he ever went over there.
I mean, they took a lot of stuff, didn't they, from his house, car. They have to have. I mean, they've never said anything about those IDs, have they, that they found? Why would he have them?
Right.
Oh, yeah. And who did they belong to?
Who did they belong to? Right.
Yeah. So, there is a lot that we don't, we
Oh.
like, who's to say they didn't find DNA on the bit of wall that they cut out? Because I
Yeah.
think it probably got pushed back into the wall. You know.
Remember, there were 2 pieces cut out, y'all.
Yeah.
So they were in 2 different areas. So was there a handprint on one and DNA on the other one? Who knows?
Oh, there was one cut out of Maddie's room too, wasn't there?
No, they were both cut out of Maddie's room. They weren't cut out of Xana's.
Oh, I thought there was one cut out of Xana's.
No, they were both
There was
cut
the
out of.
print, weren't there, on a chair? But
The chair was in Xana's room where he supposedly sat down. That was in Xana's room. Look at this picture, you guys. I just noticed it. So this, of course, can you guys see my?
No.
You guys can't see it. See where the blue car is, Xana's car down here in the corner in front of the house?
Yeah.
And then you see that, I mean, it looks like different angles of the drive. It looks like it could be a long drive or a short drive, but this looks at it like it's fairly small, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the kids, remember, they said they were told to go outside, and then we saw those pictures of them sitting outside. Look how close they were. There's the trash can dumpster right there, y'all, that they were sitting by. It's like directly right across there. So they were seeing all kind of stuff they probably didn't want to. So I mean, they were
in a photo of them where they were further up the road. It's like on a hill, and they were further up.
Oh, you don't think they were right there?
I think they were a little bit further up. I think they made them go further up. It's like
because if that's the case, that one's right there. And I don't remember seeing another one. Let me look and see.
I could be wrong, but I thought it was further up the hill.
That's the oddest house I've ever seen, anyway.
Oddest.
It is.
Well, it's because it was added on, probably at least 2 times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking for the picture page. I will find it in just a second. Community highlights. Let's see. Let me just put it up here. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'd have to really go through this. find all the pictures again. They're on Reddit. If you guys want to go try to find them after I'm off here, there's a whole slew of them. The good news is we're going to end up getting another I wonder, you know what? I wonder where he's going to be sent to serve his time. Where do they send people like that?
They could even possibly send him to another state.
Yeah, send him over here to Indiana. I'll go see him. You know,
well, they'll let you right in, Leanie.
I'll go right in. I'll be like, yo, Bri. I need an exclusive, sir. I believe you.
Well, you could write to him and have a romance with him.
Oh, fuck that. I can't even fake it. I'd be like, you dumb fuck. All my friends hate you, Bri. But I was, Richard Allen of the Delphi murders, he's like, and I didn't realize how close it was, you guys, but I was there like 2 weeks ago. I was going down a road for something. I was like, holy shit. I didn't realize how really close that was. He's in Pendleton Maximum Security, Indiana. Y'all, that's, literally 20-25 minutes from me. I drove right past it, and I wanted to drive up to it. You won't believe how much security's there, though. I was like, he's right there. That son of a bitch is right there.
Could you live in a city where there was a maximum security prison? I don't think I could.
I used to. They used to call it the Monster Mansion, and it's where they used to send all the really bad, bad criminals.
Didn't it make you nervous?
No, because I don't think there was ever a case of anybody had ever escaped from there. They had like really high walls with like these round things on top that nobody had ever got out of there.
But there's always a first time, Lizzo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was more scary when they were transporting them, after they'd been in court and they were transporting them to the prison, because there used to be like a convoy and they'd drive at high speed and the cops used to lean out the windows with the guns.
Oh my God.
And that used to be more scary.
I think I don't know. I don't know, because I feel like since I've been on YouTube and really started like being able to really do true crime, really get into it. So just like looking for something on the news that I could find. I noticed that I'm more aware of my surroundings. And I freak if I hear a weird noise, I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like that. So I would like to say I don't think I would be scared, but I probably would now.
Well,
especially
you go outside at all hours of the night.
All hours of the night, yeah.
And don't always lock your doors.
No. My back door's always open, wide open.
Oh my God.
Always, until I go to bed at night. And sometimes if the dogs wake me up too early and I just can't take it, I'll go open up the back door and go right back to bed and leave it open until I wake up.
Oh my God.
I know. So no, there would be no way I could live in a maximum, but it's only like 25 miles. I couldn't believe it. I need to go and do a video from there. But I think when I was younger, it probably wouldn't have bothered me. But I'm gonna tell you what, if there was any escapees, y'all, I'd be taking this antique pew pew off of my mantle that I've got hanging underneath it because it's an antique. I'd figure out a way to put some bullets in it, and I'd be sitting there like, oh, Granny Clampett. Come on, motherfucker. Come on.
Doesn't
rocking on my porch.
Doesn't Beefcake have any modern day pew pews somewhere?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do. That's actually, it's probably not an antique. That was his very first. Actually, I take that back. That belonged to his grandfather, so it is an antique. I just looked at the one that I have up there. What I really want for up there is, do you guys know of the ones that you put gunpowder into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those really old ones. That's
Yeah.
what I really want, but they're so expensive.
Yeah, I would imagine they are.
Let's see. Melly Joe. Oh, JB's got okay. JB has a migraine, too tired. Oh,
Oh,
God bless you.
I have to tell JB, I saw on Reels that there's a cure for migraines. When you get a migraine, you take a potato and you cut it in half, and then you put Vicks Vapor Rub on the part where it's cut, where the fresh insides of the potato are. You put Vicks Vapor Rub all over that area, and you put salt on it, and you put it on your head, on your forehead. And it takes your migraine away in like 6 minutes. And
Wow.
this is oh, what do they call them? Amish. It's an Amish thing.
I
And
mean,
those
Vicks
Amish
Vapor
know.
Rub burn your eyebrows off, but you won't have an headache.
Yeah, it's an Amish remedy. So JB, I want you to try that.
Yeah.
RC says, your eyes, Leanie. Remember, you said you're not an expert, you're not an investigator. True, true. Some of them are fantastic and some have made mistakes. Humans can make mistakes fast, right? But if you've got that much evidence along with DNA, DNA does not lie at all. It does not lie at all. If you've got all that, yeah. So, yeah, I'd say put him down in a heartbeat, faster than a dog that's sick. AI does not exist. Well, I do remember one time you told me AI did not exist, and then you sent me something again a couple days later. And you said I might be believing in AI now, and I never got anything back about that. So I think it exists. I just don't know in what form. JB says, since this is the perfect grammar club, I said that I came in and said, from a law enforcement standpoint, this is a win. Don't you people fucking listen to me. That's what she said.
Okay.
People can put resources towards the drug activity in Moscow. I digress. But do you digress, JB? Rapper, you wouldn't be breathing if I was on your back, honey. Believe you me. So there won't be a trial now. I feel for the families. Yeah. I feel for me too. And you and all of us. But like I said, having listened to that, it just made me kind of see all sides. So, I'll feel whatever the victims are feeling at the time. That's what I'll try to remember to do.
He's still got to admit to everything and go through it all. So we're still going to get to know exactly what happened.
Rizzo. She said, rolling on the floor laughing, I had to come over here and see if JB said that. JB's nicer than me, but she wanted to say it. I felt it in her heart. So I said it for her. But anyways, guys, you know what? There's people out there that do true crime a lot better than I do it. And I'm going to let you get to it because now I'm tired. And I want to go watch some stuff too. So we will be back
I want
here.
to thank you for doing a live so that we could come on and go through all the emotions and have some good laughs.
Yeah.
To get rid of all that ugly negative energy.
Because it was tough, right? That just the shock was a lot to get through.
Yeah.
But don't feel defeated. It's a win-win-win. It is a win.
Yep. It is a win. It's a win.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Let's remember what's really important, and that is the 4 victims, their families, and
Absolutely.
also
Right.
even the surviving roommates. And I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you what, every person out there that blamed one of those roommates
Oh, they
should be
need to rot in
ashamed.
hell too.
And that boy who sat up there that went in there and found them bodies, Hunter Johnson, that looks like hell. God
Yeah.
bless you, Hunter Johnson. Come over here. I'm gonna give you a hug.
Lady will take care of you.
And then being drugged through, Hoodie guy, all these people. Brent Kopak.
Kopaka.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, every one of you that blamed all these people, you should be ashamed. And
Yeah.
just take responsibility for it. But and the ones especially who say it's a hoax, you owe these families an apology. But they won't get it, and that's okay because they'll go on. They're
Yeah.
stronger, much stronger people than you'll ever be.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you for doing this with me.
No.
Thank
I
you.
love
Lena.
I love it so much. All right, let me
I'd love
finish.
to get to talk to you, Lizzo. I've never talked.
Oh, you
with
No,
you
I haven't
before.
talked to you either, Barbara.
I
Oh,
know.
well, they look. Oh my God,
Hey,
we
look.
just proved something.
We've just dispelled the myth that
We're
I am
There
two
it
different
is.
Barbara Smith.
people.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm not
Barbara Smith.
Lizzo. Lizzo's not me.
Oh, you heard it here first, folks.
Okay.
Okay, so if there's ever any confusion,
Yeah.
Lizzo and Miss Barbara were on this panel together,
Yep.
and neither one of
We
them
are
are each
not the
other.
same woman.
Not the same people. No. So suck it.
Imagine that. So suck it. All right, ladies. Thank you guys so much for
All
being up
right.
here.
You
Love
two
y'all.
have a good
Yeah.
night.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that does it for us. Thank you so much for coming along with us and for riding this out. There's much to come in the days ahead. We'll keep up with it. If you don't hear from me tomorrow, which, you know, if nothing big happens, I want to do a Goodwill haul. I've got the 3 or 4 shopping things, goodies that I found at Goodwill that I want to show you guys. And I've got something else that I'm going to show you later because that's all not in. But anyways, so tomorrow, if nothing comes out of this whole thing, then I'd like to do our thrift haul, and then we will be back on Wednesday. We'll figure out what time Brian Kohberger will show up in court to maybe make his change his plea. Somebody's going to be there. I guarantee you, Brian Enton's going to be on the ground there. Somebody's going to be there. We're going to lock up with them and figure out what the hell's going on here. So stay tuned. Keep your bells turned on because I would be happy and Maggie would be happy to ring them for you. I love you guys so much and y'all suck it. Check out our new emoji that Lunch Lady put together for us. We appreciate our manager so much of the channel. Thank you to the mods. I appreciate you so much. Anybody that's given me any feedback in chat, thank you for being there. Thank you to the ones that's been up in the chat. I appreciate you guys being here. Without you, I don't have a channel. Love you guys so much. And biggest shout out, of course, goes to the co-host of the stream, Maggie May. We love you so much, Mags. And we'll see you next time, okay? Y'all be good or be good at it. See you next time. Bye.
cut.